again to the far side. They in the middle. They shoot. Score! Wide open was Brandon Saad. Blues have a 1-0 lead. 2-0. They score! They come right in off the next draw and find Buchnevich in the middle. 2-0 St. Louis. The Islanders bring it up and dump it into the St. Louis zone. Defended well by Parayko, cleared by Leddy. Thomas with a head of steam gets it over the line. It's the trailer. Kyrou to the far wing. They score! Buchnevich! 2 in a hurry. And the St. Louis Blues have made it 3-0 with 14:50 to go here in period number 2.
Let's get nasty on a Friday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter. 203, your time check is brought to you by Collection Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. You heard Chris Kerber on the call last night. Blues Radio Network as the Blues take down the Islanders in convincing fashion. Take that, Eastern Conference version of the Blues.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Jordan Binnington was disgusting last night. Started off in the first period with a couple of massive saves. It continued throughout. Obviously, gets the shutout. I don't know where the Blues would be. Actually, I do. I know where the Blues would be without Jordan Binnington. Jamie, you kind of illustrated this yesterday. They wouldn't be close to a playoff spot.
No.
It's not just last night. Jordan Binnington has been outstanding for the Blues this season. I know he's had games that have been up and down. I know the most recent one was in Asheville. He struggled.
Oh, he didn't struggle.
Okay, but he's had some
he
bad
hasn't
games.
struggled
He's allowed
since
to.
mid-December.
He's allowed to have 1 or 2 games that get away from him, 1 or 2 periods that get away from him. Otherwise, Jamie, this guy has been outstanding, and last night was just a showcase of his ability.
Yeah, he is as dialed in as I've seen him in his entire time here. That includes 2019. Because although he had an incredible run in 2019, the team was better. It was a better team in front of him. Now, this is a solid team that's still trying to figure out their game, but they're nowhere near the 2019 team, or else we'd be talking about Stanley Cup contender. And we're not right now. We're talking about, being a playoff team.
Yeah.
So, just Jordan Binnington, it's the timely saves that makes the big difference. Look at the game against the Oilers. Zach Hyman had 2 prime scoring chances, and he was denied both times by Jordan Binnington. Yep. What happened last night? Kyle Palmieri, same situation. Same friggin' spot on the ice. Denied twice by Jordan Binnington in tight. And you knew then at that point that it was going to take a lot to get one past Jordan Binnington, and they never did. He just kept having an answer for everything, whether it was breakaways, which the Blues gave up 3 for that matter, 2-on-1s, gave a couple of those too.
1-on-none.
1-on-nones, yeah, the backdoor tap-ins, all of that. Nothing beat Jordan Binnington last night. And this is why I look at this team as 1, as a playoff team, but 2, as a threat for an upset in the first round.
Yeah.
Because if Jordan Binnington puts games together like that, all he has to do is put 4 of them together in a row, and the other team's done. If they can't score, Anthony, they can't win.
Very
That's
true.
usually how that works.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
got to score yourself as well, but
that's why defense matters.
And it helps when you score 3 in 32 seconds.
It does help a lot. Yeah.
The D always matters, Anthony. Well said. But no, Jordan Binnington stood on his head last night.
When you're talking about, that was a perfect example of what you've been talking about the entire time. When you have a Jordan Binnington playing at the level that he's playing, you can steal a series. You can win a series, because that was spectacular last night. There were some saves that you're like, whoa. Now, there was one, as you talked about the Palmieri one, where it's better to be better to be lucky than good, because that one slid right behind him, and fortunately, it didn't go in.
He had the angle, Carey.
That's what it was. But when it's amazing. I'm sure you can attest to this. When you're doing really well, good things tend to happen for you. And when you're playing really poorly, it's like everything bad happens to you. So he got lucky on that one. But all in all, he made some outstanding saves, did an outstanding job. His teammates picked him up because they were able to score, as you said, 3 goals in 32 seconds.
Yeah.
Saw Jordan Kyrou making some really good plays, doing some really good things. And it was a good game. Like, they did outstanding last night. And that's what you want to see from this team. You're probably not going to get 3 goals in that short a span every game, but putting pucks on nets, making big plays, and doing your job consistently is what you need to see from this team.
When their best players are playing they're the best guys on the ice. This is a playoff team and a scary playoff team. Now, the Blues, they got into some penalty trouble, but they did a great job special teams, and they went 1 for 5 on the power play, but they still scored a power play goal, and that's what really drove the offense. You ended up scoring 2 more goals after that. I thought Jordan Binnington did a great job keeping the Blues in the game for the most part up until that point, and then the offense took over.
Yeah, it did. And, you know, you talk about the best guys being the best players on the ice. And, Marcia, you're right. When Robert Thomas, that line, can play to their potential, and you've got your goaltender playing to their potential, and you've got guys like Parayko and Leddy with great games on defense as well last night, that drives a team. It really does. And, you know, we're going to get into a lot more aspects of things from last night, in particular Jordan Kyrou. We're going to dive into his performance. But, man, when those guys play like that, it's eye-opening. It really is. But you still have to pump the brakes a little bit because it took up until halfway through the second period for them to figure it out. And it took up until halfway through the second period of Jordan Binnington standing on his head to let you get to that spot. And I think that's like Drew Bannister had said halfway through the game. He's like, well, I'm not entirely thrilled. Like, it's nice that we're finding it now, but it took a little bit longer than I wanted it in order for us to get here.
So Pavel Buchnevich, he scored the 3 goals last night, got the hat trick. Buchnevich extended the Blues lead to 2-0 early in the second period before adding a second goal just 25 seconds later. Then had the wrister, that was the one that was the wrister from the circle. Buchnevich completed the hat trick with the backhanded shot there from the boards for the empty netter to cap off the victory. The 28-year-old winger now has 5 goals and 6 points in his last 4 contests. He's up to 22 goals and 46 points through 54 games this year. So you want to trade him, huh?
You got the other half of the people right now that are saying, oh, this is perfect. Trade him now. Value's higher than ever.
Nah.
Okay, but why?
Right. Teams know what he can do, too.
They already know.
They're not going to be fooled by either one great game like last night or one bad game if there's one, to come.
No.
They know what he is.
And let's also not forget it was Zach Bolduc's first NHL game last night.
What'd you think?
Look, here's what I loved about it is it's always fun seeing a guy get his first game. And he goes out for the rookie lap, as they call it. He had so much excitement in his face, and I had the opportunity to talk to him, just the pregame little interview by the bench, and you could tell he was nervous and he's energetic. And I thought it was great the way Drew Bannister deployed him throughout the game. It's not that he sheltered him, but he sheltered him a little bit. And I'm okay with that. No need to take the young man and just throw him in the deep end and say, here you go, figure it out. And anytime there was a neutral zone face-off or defensive zone face-off, he put Kapanen with Schenn and Neighbors to start the shift, or he'd shift it, or he'd swap to where Bolduc would then play with Hayes and Saad, and then the next shift he'd play with Schenn and Neighbors. And at the end of the game, he gave him a little bit more ice time when the game was out of reach, and then he let him play on the power play for the last minute and 10 seconds or whatever. I think it was great. Let the young man get his legs under him. You could clearly see how fast he was. 2-3 hard strides, and that kid he's on top of the check or he's away from it. One of the two. And so when he figures out exactly how to use his speed at the NHL level, he could potentially be a very dangerous player. And one thing he did last night that I thought was very exceptional is he closed guys out quickly. You could tell he had really put some thought into playing on the defensive side of the puck. And when he did play defense, he was quick, angled guys out, forced them to make plays fast. And that's all you can ask from a guy. Yep. That's all you ask of any of your forwards is, force the other team to make a play that they don't desire.
If I'm not mistaken, he ended up drawing that penalty that led to that power play goal, too. So obviously not spectacular offensively. Maybe like some fans were hoping that he would. Anthony, you were hoping he would score his first goal last night for certain reasons. For selfish reasons. Yeah. But he drew the penalty. And then
it's for me and him, though. I mean, it's for me and Zach.
It was for both of you.
Yeah, it was.
No, there's no
more for you, though.
Way more. Well, I don't know. His first NHL goal would be pretty big.
Yeah, but
here's my.
He didn't think Anthony wasn't thinking that way.
Exactly.
I got it.
Here's my question to you guys:
Like, if he would have scored the second goal, like, would you have been excited?
That's a great question.
Here's my question for you guys. Why would you want to rob him of that moment last night? That I guess is my question.
We didn't.
We didn't.
I don't know.
That was a solid question by Marsh, though.
In fact, I was hoping he'd score on that power play to make it 5-0. I'm sure you would have been just as excited.
Correct.
Yes, I would. All right, the Blues will take on the Red Wings tomorrow early. Jamie, you on that call? Is that a national call?
That's a national call.
So you don't have to wake up early, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I'll be sawing
Get to sleep in.
Yeah, to like 7:30.
Nice.
Hey, they just beat the Avalanche 2-1.
The Red Wings are on a bit of a run here.
Fire.
Yeah, we got a chance to watch them on President's Day when they were on right after the Blues on ESPN, and they were playing the Kraken, and they're a good young team. They play hard, so it's going to be a fun matchup tomorrow between the Blues and the Red Wings. The Cardinal Way, what is it? Lance Lynn was asked that, and he had a pretty good response to it. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Boys, NBA was back in action last night, and always so many fun prop bets and games to play on and whatnot. And when I do that, I love to use FanDuel because they are America's #1 sportsbook. And if you're a new customer, new to FanDuel, well, here's a deal for you. You get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. So, Carey, all they have to do is place that $5 bet, win, and they get a bonus of $150.
Yeah, Jamie, you can bet on all of your favorite NBA players and teams. Everyone is chasing in the West. They're chasing the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Clippers, the Nuggets. They're all trying to chase down the Timberwolves. They're playing really well. Maybe you want to pick one of those teams. You can do the quick bets, live, same-game parlays, exclusive props, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/fast to shoot your shot.
You like the Timberwolves tonight, laying the floor against the Bucks?
I didn't like the Timberwolves.
Against Minnesota? No.
The Bucks are going to figure it out. Doc Rivers, the new coach, he'll figure it out eventually.
We're not related.
Maybe.
Will he? No, yeah.
You and Doc, yeah, you look.
I had a question. I had a question about that, but I'm glad you clarified. You can take Carey's advice at FanDuel. Again, just visit FanDuel.com/fast and shoot your shot with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus distributed non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. often had conversations about the Cardinal Way and what does the Cardinal Way mean to you? What does it mean for the team? Guys, I don't know how you feel, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, but when it comes to the Cardinal Way, I've always viewed it as playing the game a certain way, specifically playing it hard, playing the hard nine, like Tony La Russa would often talk about. You know, doing the fundamentals, making it difficult on the opponent, kind of suffocating them a little bit, waiting for them to make an error and pouncing on it. Like that's like playing the game the right way. To me, has always been the quote unquote Cardinal Way. Do you guys see it the same way? Or do you have a different viewpoint on it?
Yeah, I would say that it's pretty much the same. I think that just like all things, you know, the culture or the Cardinal Way or the Patriot Way or the Blues Way or whatever you want to call it, it's always ever evolving because you're going to end up with different eras of players who act differently. Like Stan Musial is quite different than Tommy Edman. It's just, you know, I'm just using two guys from obviously two completely different eras. So I think the Cardinal Way has to continue to evolve with the way the game of baseball is evolving and also the way the modern athlete is evolving. But I think the core values of what you want to call the Cardinal Way is going to be the hard work, the dedication, the compete, and representing the logo to the best of your ability at all times, on and off the field.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
That to me is the four pillars right there. When you're looking to build an organization, you have to have guys that are proud to wear the logo, and absolutely at no point do they want to ever disgrace the logo in any way, shape, or form. And then you have to have that compete, you have to have that hard work, and you have to have that dedication. If you've got a player that has those four things or willing to do those four things, you can work with everything else. I can handle personality. I can handle, you know, a guy that maybe walks to the beat of his own drum a little bit as long as he's valuing those pillars for our franchise.
For me, it's the Cardinal Way, and how I understood it or understand it is about winning championships. That first and foremost, and then everything else takes care of itself. I think a lot of times players, and this is at all levels and in all different organizations, sometimes they begin to focus on themselves, failing to realize if we win championships, everybody generally starts to get paid and starts to be, you know, perceived in a different light. It's about, because at some point you're the only show on TV. Everyone's watching. Oh, this guy is really good. Oh my goodness. You may not have seen him because he's in a different market. But when you go further along in the playoffs and now you're the only two teams playing in a World Series, everyone's watching. So for me, it was always about winning championships and getting yours along the way. In Pittsburgh, there was a saying amongst us, you're either going to win championships or you're going to get paid. You're probably not going to do both here. And that was the understanding. We're going to win championships, and everyone understood. There are going to be some guys that get both. You know, Ben is going to get paid, and he's going to win a championship. But all of us aren't going to get paid and win championships. So which one do you want more? And that was the mindset that we kind of went through. We want to win championships. So it's about that, and I think maybe that's what got lost along the way, because it's natural to start thinking about, man, I got to get this contract. Man, I gotta perform. Oh man, arbitration is coming. Oh man, I'm about to be a free agent. What do I need to do to make myself relevant so that I can get paid? And I think that's when you start to see the Cardinal Way kind of break. And I think maybe that's what took place over the last few years.
Lance Lynn was asked about the Cardinal Way and what it means. This audio is courtesy from KSDK, and his answer is kind of interesting.
You know, the Cardinal Way has changed over years, to be honest with you. When I first came up, the Cardinal Way was about winning. It was about only thing that mattered was taking care of your teammates, making sure that on the field that you were doing everything you can to help the team win, and your own personal goals didn't matter. So I think over time things kind of go in a gray area, and the reason why I came back is, you know, they wanted to go back to the time when we won a lot. Obviously, last year wasn't what they wanted. This year they brought back guys that want to win, and they want to, you know, make their mark about winning. That's who they are. So you know, that's the best way to teach the Cardinal Way, is show up and figure out how to win games and do things the right way.
It's interesting that he says the Cardinal Way has changed over the years. Should it?
How did it?
Right.
Would be my question.
He mentioned it used to be about winning and protecting your teammates. And then he mentioned last year.
Oh, they didn't do that at all.
No. So if that's what it was about, maybe bringing in Lance Lynn and Matt Carpenter and even Kyle Gibson, who didn't play here, but a guy that has been a well-respected veteran, Sonny Gray, same deal. Maybe bringing those guys back in, they're trying to recapture that.
Oh, clearly.
Trying
Clearly.
to specifically say, hey, have your teammates' backs. Do it this way. I don't know if you're good enough to win in today's climate in Major League Baseball, but at least that's going to be the goal. But yeah, they're trying to recapture the Cardinal Way.
Yeah, they're totally trying to do that. That's the number one thing that I thought of when they brought back all the recycled parts.
Yeah.
Is they're bringing back what they once were. Why are they doing that? Because they've lost their way. Mm-hmm. It's the bottom line. And Anthony, we talked about it several times. Carey, you were here too. I talked about an overcorrection of the culture because of what they've let it become. And this is why you've got guys like this back here now. This is why you're willing, as a franchise, to take on maybe some players that are older. Maybe a player in Matt Carpenter that may or may not contribute a lot on the field as far as his actual playing time, but it might pay dividends to have him around the clubhouse and with the younger guys and just kind of rebuilding this culture.
You know what's interesting, though? They better hope this was the problem, because solving the wrong problem will be the most significant reason for no change. Right.
If they pick the wrong door,
exactly.
This is terrible.
If they believe that this is the problem that needs to be solved, and it's not the real problem, that will be the most significant reason why real change will not occur for the Cardinals.
And also, if they try to fix this problem, maybe it's not that it's the wrong solution, but what if it just doesn't work? What if bringing all these guys in and all this leadership and their culture and the Cardinal Way, and it just doesn't work? Mm-hmm. Now what?
Well, it's going to be really bad.
Not great.
Maybe not 91 games lost bad, but it could still be really bad. And I think, as men, as teammates, what they did last year is there's no words for it in terms of what they did to Wilson Contreras and how they tried to spin it and made it seem like the media was overblowing it. No, you all left that man out to dry. The pitchers weren't throwing the correct pitches or in the correct location, and you blamed one person and made it seem like it was all blown out of proportion. As a teammate, that's inexcusable, in my opinion. And I don't think that is the Cardinal Way. That is not what you would assume that that's what bad organizations do, bad teams do. And so maybe that's why you said they brought those guys back. So someone could say, hey, no, we don't do that here. Whatever, my mom used to tell me, what you say in the house stays in the house. Like, we don't discuss outside what we discuss in here. And so the Cardinals didn't do that. They let all of their information get outside of the clubhouse, outside of the house, and everybody knew their dirty business, their dirty laundry. And that can't happen. So hopefully, maybe that this is a bit of an overcorrection. I don't know how much Lance Lynn is going to provide in that area. I don't know him personally. I don't know him as a teammate, but maybe the Cardinals feel like he is the one that can help in that Matt Carpenter is the one that can help in that. But if it's not just that, then you are correct. It's going to be a long season, and it is going to be a huge problem again, because not only do you have to fix that part, you also got to play well. And they didn't play well.
Right.
Often last year.
And their Cardinal Way and all this stuff will be tested big time if they don't play well.
Correct.
Because it's easy to win games and be like, yeah, it's part of the Cardinal Way.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. We're back on board. But you lose 5, 6, 7 in a row, and you're not feeling all Cardinal Way that much anymore.
Yeah.
It's more difficult. Doing? Yeah, it's more difficult in those situations to kind of toe the mark at that point.
Let's get listeners involved. What do you think the problem is? Do you think the Cardinals have solved one of their problems, and one of the problems was they've lost the Cardinal Way, and acquiring these guys or bringing them back in was the right solution? Or is there a bigger problem that the Cardinals have yet to fix? Leave us a mic drop. You can do it on the 101 ESPN app. It's free. Leave us a mic drop. What is the problem? Is it the Cardinal Way, or is it something else? Again, you can leave us a mic drop, and we'll get to that at some point here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have What's Trending next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues won last night over the New York Islanders by a final of 4-0. Jordan Binnington stopped 38 shots in his 15th career shutout. He picked up his 137th win, tying Curtis Joseph on the Blues all-time wins leaderboard. Pavel Buchnevich scored a hat trick last night, picking up goals 20, 21, and 22 on the season. Once again, the Blues win 4-0 last night over the Islanders. They'll take on the Detroit Red Wings tomorrow with the pregame starting at 10 a.m., puck drop at 11. The Red Wings are coming off a 2-1 victory at home against the Colorado Avalanche. Once again, Blues Red Wings tomorrow right here on 101 ESPN. We have What's Trending coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
What's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now? Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, Major League Baseball, they've turned into a high-velocity, max-effort type game. Well, it looks like baseball is bringing the junk back, gentlemen, but maybe not in the way that you think. Unfortunately, did you happen to see some of the photos that were circling around the internet yesterday?
Not that junk.
Different type of junk.
I
Different
did see
type.
that.
Are you talking about maybe some
See-through?
huevos rancheros being?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay. Some Liberty Bells,
Some Liberty Bells.
Not a good look.
twigs, and giggleberries.
Not a good look.
I mean, what are we doing here?
What? I'm sorry. This has been an awful offseason for Major League Baseball, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Just awful. You have all the top free agents going to one team. You're way too top heavy, and then you unveil these uniforms that have been an absolute joke. Some of the players don't. Most of the players don't like them. Some have said, yeah, no, they breathe better and all that stuff. But we talked about yesterday. You get the see-through pants. So the shirts that are tucked in look like crap. You're probably seeing way too much.
Probably.
We're definitely seeing way too much.
You've got, unfortunately, some TV companies going through one TV company going through bankruptcy. Like this has been a disaster of an offseason for Major League Baseball. You still have multiple guys, Cody Bellinger, Blake Snell, and Jordan Montgomery, that don't have teams, and we just had our first spring training game yesterday. This is awful.
How do you fix that? If you're
You have to become self-aware. If you're Major League Baseball, you have to become self-aware. And I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think there's always been an air of supremacy for Major League Baseball because it's the national pastime. We are who we are. All this stuff.
It's past its time.
They've always been slow to make changes. They've always been slow to make. They always hold their fans prisoners with the blackouts, not having a cap, not having a floor.
But they changed the rules. They changed the basis.
When did they do that? Last year?
They want people
2 years
more
ago.
involved.
They implemented that.
More stolen bases. No more shifts. More hits. Yeah. More runs being scored.
More junk, Anthony.
More junk.
Well,
Maybe. All right.
Not a great look at all.
is there a way for Major League Baseball to get out of this contract with Fanatics?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know.
If your product is not up to snuff, we can get out of this contract.
Probably not.
I mean, if you're FanDuel, if I'm not FanDuel's.
We love FanDuel.
We love FanDuel. if I'm Fanatics, I want to make sure that I do the right thing. This goes back to who was it back then? It was a Tylenol, the infamous drug company in the 80s. They had somebody that was messing with their products.
Okay.
Like somebody was poisoning their product, and people were either getting sick or dying from it. And I believe it was Tylenol. They pulled all of their products off the shelves, all of it. And obviously that was a massive loss for them, but they did the right thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's tampering this. We got to make sure that our product is safe. They pulled it off the shelves and made sure that when they remanufactured it, they remanufactured the drug. Everybody was safe again. And everybody felt confident in the product. If I'm Fanatics, jeez, I keep trying to say FanDuel. If I'm Fanatics, I'm going to do the same thing.
FanDuel
this is not right. FanDuel will do it correct. Yeah. If they made jerseys, they would do it correct. That's my thought, at least.
I don't know. I mean, if you're Major League Baseball, first thing, I mean, whenever you're in a leadership position, you know everyone is not going to agree with everything that you do. But I don't think that see-through pants should be one of those things that you kind of, some are okay, some aren't. Nah, that's not a good look. You know, and you talked about the offseason and how the Dodgers signed everyone, and so they are the only team that's going to win the World Series this year.
No.
That's what you said.
No, I didn't.
You did. You said the one team signed every player. Didn't you say that?
I did say one team.
And that they would win the World Series.
I did not say they would win the World Series.
The Padres 14-1 yesterday. What?
I did not say they would win the World Series. What I'm saying is the league is top heavy.
Yeah, you said that they signed everybody for $1 billion, and they were going to beat every team like they did the Padres in spring training.
You're adding some stuff.
Context clues.
I thought that's what I heard.
You heard half of it. Then you made up the other half. The Phillies signed everybody 2 years ago, and last year, some respect. The Rangers did. The Rangers were at.
They won a World Series. So you're making my point.
You only have a couple of teams.
Yeah, the Braves won a World Series. The Phillies went to a World Series. The Rangers won a World Series. Now the Dodgers will. Isn't that what he said, Marsh?
It was something along the lines of that. Yeah.
It sounds
something
familiar.
Like the Dodgers are a juggernaut.
Yeah.
They are a juggernaut.
Letting the junk hang out and doing all the things they need to do.
Every team in baseball is letting their junk hang out. Thanks to these uniforms.
Junk hang out. Yeah, that's
I don't know.
Am I crazy to think that this was a terrible offseason for Major League Baseball?
Not at all. This is, you know what?
This is embarrassing for Major League Baseball.
We're talking about it though. I feel like Major League Baseball is bad press is good press, right?
In this case, I'm not so sure it is.
We are talking about
actually talking about baseball though.
They are. They're not talking about the NFL draft. I mean, the NFL draft or the combine that is on, coming up. We're not talking about that. We're talking about baseball. Practice.
When the league year the new league year starts in the NFL, which is what, 2 weeks from now? And you have free agency open up?
March,
it's like March 15th or something?
Yeah.
Everybody will be talking about the NFL. Because you have players actually signing.
Blake Snell still waiting on a team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bad look, and you know it. I can see it in your face.
I mean, it's not great.
It's not great at all.
When some of your best players don't have a team.
And it's weird. Just one misstep.
All season is weird in baseball. Like it's like I said yesterday. In basketball and in football, it's almost like those contracts are signed as soon as the league year starts. 12:01 a.m. You're getting news across the scroll and on ESPN. It's not the same in baseball. It's just kind of it's kind of like the game. Just drags along at times.
It just if you're the NBA, you're the NFL, you capitalize on the momentum of the calendar. The NBA trade deadline, the NFL draft, the NFL free agency, even hockey trade deadline. You capitalize on the momentum depending on what month it is. And your fans can go to the trade deadline knowing that there's going to be action. In Major League Baseball, you don't know. And which is why I keep saying Major League Baseball is not self-aware. They don't operate for the fans. I don't know if they even operate for the players half the time.
Clearly, they're not.
No. Not at all. Go ahead, Marshall.
Everyone's talking about Major League Baseball. No one's talking about the NFL, Anthony.
Okay.
NFL salary cap rises $30.6 million to record $255.4 million per team. Dan Graziano, senior NFL national reporter, wrote on ESPN. The NFL announced today that its salary cap for the 2024 season will be a record $255.4 million per team, a stunning 13.6% increase over last year's cap.
It's pretty good.
So the NFL is expanding its cap so teams can be more active in free agency. They can spend, or they can spend to retain their own players, and that's what they'll do. You're not going to see
hold on to it.
Half the league hold on to their cap space because
they're not going to hold on to
turn
it
a bigger profit
and make more money.
No,
they won't have a good product, will they?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah,
can't just what is it, $255 million? Is that what you said, Marsh?
Yes.
And they're going to spend $180 in pocket. We'll hold on to this. Yeah. We'll use that for later.
We'll sign one guy to a one-year deal. Tell our fan base that he's the difference maker.
And we're trying to win.
And we're trying to win a championship. All right.
What happens when you bring in 3 one-year deal guys, Anthony, that have veteran leadership?
Good call.
There you go.
Did they want to be there or not? That's the only question.
What are you talking
It's
about?
always the main question you have to ask.
Yeah.
Did they want
Did they
to
want
be
to
here?
be there?
Because if they did, then that's when you bring them. And if not, then you're probably going to lose.
Was last night the best version of the Blues, or do they have even more to give? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. This weekend is a perfect time to head out to Auto Center's Nissan out in Herculaneum, test drive some new vehicles, and get yourself a brand new Pathfinder, or a Rogue, or an Altima, or a pre-owned Pathfinder, pre-owned vehicle of your choice. Because at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum, they have over 700 vehicles on their lot, and we're talking about one location, too. So when you go on to AutoCentersNissan.com and you peruse all the vehicles that they have there, and you pick out some of the ones that you really like, different makes, different models, different colors, different features inside and out, great. You're going to actually see that same vehicle on their lot in Herculaneum when you drive out there this weekend. Get yourself, again, a brand new vehicle or a pre-owned car, and they're going to give you financing options with a monthly budget or a monthly payment that's going to fit in your budget at a lower rate than you thought was even possible, because they get the best financing department in the league, out of any dealership that I've seen. When it comes to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they also give you a 30-day return promise. They give you the free nationwide lifetime complimentary warranty as well. So talk to them about their great deals that they have throughout the rest of February. Head out there this weekend, get yourself a new ride, and tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum.
It happened pretty quick, but obviously worked out well for us, put them in a difficult position and kind of chasing the game from there. But to be honest with you, I didn't like the way we played after that. I thought we got caught in a track meet, and we just, when we're in a game like that, we got to be more disciplined with how we manage our game.
That was Blues interim head coach Drew Bannister following last night's victory over the Islanders. And that's kind of interesting. He said, I like the outcome certainly, but there's still certain aspects of our game that we need to improve upon. With Jamie Rivers and Carey Davis and Anthony Stalter. So the question is, was that the best version of the Blues last night, or do they still have more that they can not accomplish, but more that they can give, so to speak, within their game?
Well, it might have been the best version of Jordan Binnington, but if that's the best version of the Blues, we're in trouble.
Fair enough.
Bottom line. I mean, you gave up, 10 or 11 high-danger scoring chances to the other team. You gave up, the breakaways. You had missed opportunities on power plays. You went 1 for 5, but you still, apart from that, you didn't accomplish what you wanted.
Right.
And there were some inconsistencies in their game as well, but that's what happens in any sports. Is the other team's there to throw a wrench into what your game plan is, and they're there to impose their will upon you with their game plan. So, but no, is this the best version? No, not even close. I mean, it can't be. If this is the best version, forget about it. Like, order the tea times now. We're done.
I guess that's a good thing following a 4-0 victory.
It is. But Drew Bannister's being honest when saying, they scored in bunches there, and obviously it was to their advantage, and you'll take it. But apart from that, the rest of the game was probably more tilted for the Islanders as far as scoring opportunities are concerned.
Yeah, sure. And that's why Binnington had to come up with so many big saves, Gary.
Why he looked spectacular, because there were so many, high dangerous opportunities right in front of him that he made, which you're like, ooh, that is amazing. But then you think about it, you're like, well, he shouldn't even have to make those saves.
If your goalie's the first star, he made a lot of really big saves.
It's kind of like what we talked about when your safety has 15 tackles. He had a hell of a game. No,
he shouldn't have.
He didn't. He made a lot of tackles.
You lost.
The guys in front of him didn't get the guy on the ground.
Running back at a 7.0 yards per carry average. It's not great.
We still won, but we don't want to have him making all those tackles. So yeah, I think that's probably when you're Drew Bannister, you're looking at it from a broad perspective and saying, yeah, great game, we won, got 4 goals, 3 in the second period in a short time span. But all in all, we still need to be better in this area. We were talking about the one-on-none breakaway, and you were explaining it to me how the defensemen were trying to get off the ice because they were on there so long. I think Sonny had forced him into the corner but didn't pressure him long enough to allow the defenseman to get off, and he was gassed. The thing I've learned watching hockey now, because you've told me, when guys are gassed, is how slowly they move.
Oh, and their knees don't bend.
He was dragging his stick off like,
straight-legged.
Get me out of here.
It's weird. Yeah, but those things happen. And look, you're still a team that's trying to build something. You had a young player in your lineup last night, his first NHL game. You had some different line combinations. The first period was kind of wacky. There's special teams. There's power play, penalty kill, back and forth. Hard for anybody to establish a true rhythm within that game. The only rhythm that was established was Jordan Binnington making saves. So, yeah, I expect more from this team. I think the version of the Blues that we saw play the Edmonton Oilers, I thought that was a really good version of this team. I thought that was a playoff version of this team. And that's the team I want to see on a more consistent basis.
Yeah.
What we saw last night, the second period was fine. Third period was fine. First period wasn't great. So, yeah, you got a win that maybe you didn't deserve, but that's okay because you'll take it.
Let me ask you, so how normal is it to play 3 consecutive periods the way you want to in the NHL? I get it if you face an opponent that's not great.
But even when you face an opponent that's not great, I told you before, sometimes playing those teams is the hardest thing because they're doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Sure.
It'd be like it's like being a quarterback and you're playing against a defense that's erratic.
Right.
Well, this guy's supposed to drop back. What the hell is he doing?
Yeah.
Why is he standing there?
It's like when my buddies, they always want me to play poker because I'm terrible at poker. And then they get mad at me because they're like, why are you still in this hand?
Then you ride it out to the end.
And then I catch my card on the river.
Catch the river. And they're like,
you idiot. Like, what?
It works.
7 deuce offsuit. What do you want to do?
That's exactly the old Doyle Brunson there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I would compare that to. So it is difficult to play 3 periods of perfect hockey. There's so many different variables in a game. There's certain players, there's calls, there's offsides, there's bad passes, there's all sorts of things. So for me, you got the win. You needed it. You stay ahead of the Predators because they continue to win and put the pressure on you. And now you've got a massive string of games coming up for the Blues. I mean, 8 of 9 on the road coming up here. And they're not like, I don't think there's one gimme opponent. I think the weakest team you're going to play is the Islanders again next week.
Yeah.
Like, that's not much of a reward.
No.
So it's going to be difficult. For me, you're going to find out exactly what you've got here in the next 4 to 5 games. What?
We have said that. I feel like we've said that for 2 months.
Yeah, no,
you're right.
Well, no, but let me reword it. For me, in the next 4 to 5 games, you're going to find out what you're doing at the deadline.
Okay, there you go.
That's really more what I meant.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say Doug Armstrong's going to have to take inventory here.
Sure.
And if you go 1-4 in your next 5, the decisions are going to be different. If you go 4-1, the decisions, again, will be different than what you thought they might be.
Right.
So the next 4 to 5 games, trade deadline-wise,
makes sense.
There could be an impact.
Yeah.
That top line played really well yesterday. And that's what you have been talking about for a while, making sure that all 3 of those guys, Jordan Kyrou played really well. Obviously, Buchnevich had the 3 goals. And Robert Thomas, they all seemed to be in sync last night. And if this team is going to win games on a consistent basis, that has to happen every single night.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that Jordan Kyrou is realizing is, and I said it on the broadcast last night, is the harder defensively you play, the quicker you get the puck back and the more offense that you can play.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that young players don't realize is they just figure, I'm going to wait around over here, and when we get the puck back, I'll go play offense.
Yeah.
But as you get more experience, you realize that if you contribute more defensively and you check more tenaciously, you get the puck back quicker. And then you can go play on offense for a longer period of time.
Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. The Blues take on the Red Wings tomorrow, pregame 10 a.m. right here on 101 ESPN. Of course, you'll catch the game on the Blues Radio Network as Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale will have the call for you. Alex Ferrario will have the pregame for you. Again, 10 a.m. as the Blues take on the Red Wings. We said earlier in this hour that the Cardinals, when talking about the Cardinal Way, we said if they went to solve the problem of reestablishing the Cardinal Way, but that actually isn't the problem that they have, real change is not going to occur. And then we toss it out to you, the listener. Leave us a mic drop. What actually is the problem if it's not the Cardinal Way? We have some mic drops for you next on 101 ESPN.
think the problem with the Cardinals last year was confined to just a couple of areas: defense, hitting, and pitching, and bullpen, and maybe coaching, and maybe player procurement. So not really a whole lot wrong with them that they couldn't readily fix. Yeah.
I think Steve's on to something with that, guys.
Awesome.
If the Cardinals fix their offensive problems, their pitching problems, their defensive problems, their coaching problems, and their player development problems, I think they'd be okay.
Question.
Yeah, Carey.
That seems like every aspect of the team.
I don't think that's what Steve said. I think Steve said there's a couple of things.
I mean,
But those are like the major aspects of a team. No,
both can be true, I guess.
I guess, Carey, either we're not explaining it right, or you maybe are struggling to grasp it. What we're saying is, if the Cardinals score more runs than they did a year ago and give up less runs while also playing good defense, having some good fundamental sound base running, and better coaching, making better decisions overall in the front office, then they'll be better.
Okay.
All right. So again,
feels
just
like
a couple
everything,
of things.
but okay, that's just me.
Sorry, just a few things, not necessarily a couple.
Be negative.
Yeah. So earlier in the show, we were talking about how if the Cardinals, who clearly sent out, the front office did, clearly sent out this offseason to bring back the Cardinal Way, which included bringing in Lance Lynn and bringing in Matt Carpenter, they wanted to make sure that they righted a wrong and fixed a problem. And I had said, if they solve the wrong problem, it's one of the most significant reasons why real change will not occur this year. And then we asked you, what is the real problem that needs to be solved? Here's Carl.
There's no way the players are going to bring back the Cardinal Way. The Cardinal Way should be a process, a system, a methodology of how we do things in the Cardinals organization, not a player's mentality, because the player mentality would go away as soon as those players go away or age out. If they're talking about the Cardinal Way, it should be we play sound defense, and here's how we get to sound defense. We steal bases, and here's how we steal bases. It's a process.
I think that's a great point by Carl. If you want to be a leader, leadership starts with you, not with the people you lead. It's the whole Arenado thing. It's like, well, if the kids listen to us, then I could lead. No, that's not how leadership works. What? And I'm paraphrasing what he said. But leadership starts with you, not the people that you lead. So in this case, if you're the Cardinals, you are in the leadership role. Your front office, the coaches that you choose on every level of the organization, that is your leadership group. You can't just ask to Carl's point, you can't ask the players to just start with the Cardinal Way when that's not being instituted at every level.
At every level,
like it was before.
I think is the key point, even in the minors. Like, you have to have a mindset, a philosophy that when you get to the big league team, you already understand what the expectations are. And that's the best way to go about it. When you transitioning throughout the system, this is how we do it here in single A, double A, triple A. And when you get here, this is what the expectations are. But it's already been ingrained in your brain throughout the entire organization. And so for somehow, some way, that mindset has been lost on the current Cardinals. Mm-hmm. And in order to get it back, you have to win. Like, that's the ultimate whatever way. It's not, we play a hard 9, but we lose every game. Like, nobody cares if you lose. It's about winning. So that's the ultimate thing, is winning the games and winning it in the way that we do. How do we get to this W at the end of the night? That's the most important thing, and figuring out what they are, who they are, and how they're going to go about that. I'm assuming that's what they're doing in spring training, and hopefully when they get to the start of the season, those things will be in place and implemented every single day.
You bring up a good point when you talk about this Cardinal Way or whatever, this culture thing that we're discussing is it starts the moment the player is drafted or signed. It really does. Like, When a player gets drafted to the New York Yankees, they know right away that they can't have a beard, they can't have long, like, there are certain standards. And I know that has nothing to do with winning a baseball game. I get it. My point is, you know what the expectations are. And so if I'm a young baseball player and I'm drafted to the Cardinals, the moment I hear my name, I know what I'm getting into. Okay, this is a serious organization. Like, we're going to have Ozzie Smith at spring training. We're going to have Willie McGee. We're going to have all these guys. Like, there is a massive tradition. I better have my ish together and be ready to go whenever the spring training is, whether it's for the big league, the AAA team, the single A team, whatever it is. Because as an organization, your job is to create this Cardinal Way from the lowest point. So the draft entry or the signing of the player, and then wherever he goes next, if it's AAA or single A ball or low A, whatever it is, they're already preaching what it is that your culture is. Each team along the way, as they work your way up, has got the same core values and the same exact philosophies.
It's like being a parent. As soon as your child is born, you're trying to, or at least they can understand, you're trying to implement certain things. You know, this is how you're going to be a good person. You know, you're when you go to school, you lift people up. You don't put people down. You don't be a bully. You don't, whatever you're trying to institute, right? You're right. You try to imprint on them right away. And don't tell me you don't have opportunities to, because how many times have we seen a player get drafted and then they're in a suite or they're taken in batting practice, right? You should have designated people within your organization. As soon as that player is drafted, they go to that person. It might be a player that's currently on the team, or it might be a coach, or it might just be an ambassador that says, hey, congratulations, you're now a St. Louis Cardinal. Here's the expectations we have for you as an organization. And you lay them out. And when they're walking around Busch Stadium, you say, hey, we pick up the trash. Or whatever you're trying to get across that is your culture, you can do that multiple times. Then when they show up to spring training, there's a whole nother set of standards. Or those standards that you got in when you went on that visit, they're just repeated to you. They're reinforced. And then you could see on the field to the current minor league teams, they're playing that way. And then it starts to become ingrained. So then there's no BS. And if you don't adhere to that, we'll give you one chance, maybe two. Then we're going to trade you. And you're done. Because you can't be a Cardinal.
I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing what the expectations are. You know, let's just use the business world. And I'll just use this company because, quite honestly, I don't think I've ever had bad service there. It's Chick-fil-A. Love them or hate them, like the food or don't like the food, it's irrelevant. When you sign up to be an employee at Chick-fil-A, you know what the standard is. And the people who train you make sure you know what the standard is.
Absolutely.
And so, therefore, it's the responsibility of the player / employee, but also of the trainer and
the peers,
coach, and the other people that work there, the other teammates. That's how you hold people accountable, is by establishing what you deem to be your culture, holding those people accountable, and then when new people come into the group holds the new person accountable, but not in a way of like in their face. You teach them so that they know what it means to be a part of this organization. And then when they have an opportunity, they pay it forward to the next young guy or to a teammate that needs help at that point. That's how you build a positive culture for any work / playing environment.
No doubt.
I know we joke around about guys wanting to be here, but isn't it important, though, to draft guys that have that makeup of what a St. Louis Cardinal is?
Preferably, yes.
Because an example, I look at the Indianapolis Colts, who really, they haven't been that great, right? Up until this year, they draft Anthony Richardson, who is staying after an event and helping people clean up. Like, that is an example of they're trying to shift that culture, and they draft a guy that has talent on the field but is a better person off the field as well.
Right.
So that's an example of, like, they're trying to shift that culture.
Marsh, if that matters to you as a team, as an organization, the answer to that question is yes. You're seeking that out. There are a lot of teams, and this goes for every sport, that don't necessarily miss on the talent, they miss on the character. Jamarcus Russell is a perfect example of that. Jamarcus Russell won at the highest level in college, LSU, big-time player, could throw the ball 50 yards, seated, unbelievable talent, and then they got him in the building, and they realized very quickly that he wanted nothing to do with football. He wanted nothing to do with practicing. He wanted to go to the casino or party or do whatever, and they realized they whiffed on the character. I think a lot of teams whiff on that because it's a little harder when you're trying to you can do all the backroom you can, but until you have that person in the building, it's a little tougher. But yes, you want to try to find people that already have those qualities that you could just naturally play into your organization.
That's why I feel really confident about the young guys that are on this team, though, like Jordan Walker
and Mason Wynn seem to have those characteristics.
Lars Nootbaar as well.
Yeah.
Tommy Edman.
Donovan. Maybe he's a little bit older, but
I think but still.
Right.
You have to have different tiers within your group. It can't just be all old guys and young guys. Mm-hmm. And you hear and see guys like Brendan Donovan in the offseason talking about how he wants to step up and be a bigger leader as well.
Yeah.
So it's important. Carey, I'm actually really curious to hear your take on this. And the reason I'm so curious is because you played for a historic football franchise that is no joke to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, there is a certain way of doing business, and that's the bottom line. Like, for you guys with the Steelers, like, what was the Steeler way or your version of it?
Well, I think it was obviously playing hard football. Like, not we had a mindset that, Mike T came in and said, whatever we do, the most violent team will win this game. And that was the mindset every game we went into. So on the field, it was being physical, being violent, not being bullied, not being punked.
But you knew that, like, right from day one.
You knew that from day one.
I better be ready to go here.
This is the mindset, or you're not going to be. If you aren't physically, mentally fit to do this job, you won't be able to stay. But as a teammate, you knew that you were accountable to your other guys. Like, the thing that made it so great is it didn't matter where you played, offense, defense, special teams. We all hung together. We all would, eat together. We would play cards together and bond. And that was the one thing that helped. But it started from the top because Mr. Rooney literally would tell you, I have an open door policy. If you come, you could be walking past this off. Carey, come in. Come holler at me. Come talk to me. Sit down. What you doing? How's it going? Yes. Yes. So it starts at the top. If the owner has an open door policy, you think the head coach doesn't? Yeah, you think the offensive coordinator doesn't? You think the running back coach doesn't? You think the defensive coordinator doesn't? Yeah, they all do. Come in and talk. Sit down. What's going on? Mm-hmm. And so now, as a teammate, you're the same way. What's going on? You good? Why did you do? What do you need?
And you're doing it for the right reasons.
And you're doing it because you don't want to let anybody on that chain down. We're all on the same page. We're all working towards a common goal. And we all are into this together. And so that was, for me, that's what made it different. And I told you, my first day as a Pittsburgh Steeler, about 53 men on the roster, 45 people came and introduced themselves to me. And it's like, I know who you are. You're Troy Polamalu. Hey, nice to meet you. Ben Roethlisberger, nice to meet you. Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Hines Ward, nice to meet you. That's how they introduced themselves. And then when rookies would come in, our player personnel, Ray Jackson, would sit them down, all 7 of them, 8, 10, however many it was, and would have a couple of veteran players sit. I sat in a few of those and talked to them. Hey, this is what we do. This is the expectation. If you don't work, you're not going to play. And I will point to a second-round pick. It doesn't matter. You might not be here in 2 years. Because that was the mindset. And I've seen it. I've seen a guy get drafted in the 5th round, and his teammate played the same position who was undrafted, and the 5th rounder got cut at the end of training camp, and the undrafted guy stayed on the team. So it's about working. It don't matter how you got here, and that was the mind. However you got here, you're here, and you're deserving of it. You better put in the work and do your job.
It's kind of like the fast lane. So when Carey came in on the fast lane, we had a list of rules.
We had to sit him down.
Yeah, Carey, don't look at me.
We actually did. We do have a couple of rules.
Yeah,
and we'll let him in on it.
Absolutely.
Quickly.
Yeah, don't look at me in the eye ever.
I'm still working on that one.
Don't ask Jamie about his history.
It's true.
Stuff like that.
Can't remember it.
Yeah. No, we do. We have a couple of rules. Yeah. One, of course, is nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
Yeah. 2 is Jamie.
Bury the bodies.
Bury the bodies. Exactly.
I bought into that really quickly.
Yeah. You did. I thought it was amazing. You showed up your second day with a shovel.
I thought that's
that
what
was honestly that's
commitment.
Yeah, I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
No, it was greatly appreciated.
Okay.
We didn't need it that day.
Yeah,
but you never know.
It's still there. Exactly. Yeah, it's a great point. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. How much pressure is Oli under, and is Oli under more pressure or less pressure than the front office? That's probably the better question to ask. That's next. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Pure Performance, your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. And if you're looking around, you see the beautiful sunshine. Maybe you're driving around in a Jeep and you're looking to accessorize it. Well, Pure Performance has everything for your Jeep. No matter what year, make, or model, they've got you covered. And those brand new Broncos driving around out there, Pure Performance is absolutely incredible at maximizing the modifications for those Broncos. And it doesn't have to be just those vehicles. You have a pickup truck, you could have an SUV, you can even have a minivan, and Pure Performance has something for you. Whether it's an old car or a brand new car, accessorizing it can be a lot of fun, and it can be really fun to visit the square or the showroom. Showroom's 25,000 square feet, and you walk in, and there's everything you can imagine for your vehicle. But please, when you walk in, ask for Shelby. She runs everything over there. Tell Shelby that Jamie Rivers sent you in. She's going to ask you what kind of vehicle you have and what your budget is, because Pure Performance, they try to maximize your budget. They want you to get everything you possibly can for the money that you're spending. And then, of course, the technicians do an incredible job at all of the modifications, and you're going to absolutely love your vehicle when you leave there. So please, again, stop by. You won't be sorry. But if you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie said something during the break that almost carried over.
We're talking about love, Anthony.
Yeah, we are. Jim Bowden.
Oh, Bobby's brother.
Nope. Jim Bowden, 5 MLB managers on the hot seat to start the 2024 season. Ranked John Schneider of
the Dukes of Hazzard.
Mama Rivers, Toronto Blue Jays.
You remember John Schneider?
No.
He was the blonde guy in the Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah.
I used to love the Dukes of
Slide
Hazzard.
across the hood, all that stuff.
Was that him?
Dude, that and the
My brother and I
Knight
tried
Rider?
that one time.
How'd it go?
Well, actually, it was fine for me. I slid across the hood in my track pants. It was great. My brother had been wearing shorts.
Uh-oh.
And they caught some traction halfway across there.
Man.
He rolled down out of that sucker. I mean, it was awesome.
I'm sure.
He hit the middle of the hood. I think the hood was still hot, too. I think my dad just got home. And he's like basketball shoes. And it rolled him forward over. Yeah. And I was like, that's not how they do it.
Not at all.
That's how they look in the Dukes of Hazzard.
I think he got up and chased me.
Yeah. Dude, in the 80s, man, I lived on those 3 shows, Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, and A-Team.
Absolutely.
That was when TV was TV.
That was good stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, Oli Marmol is the second guy that Jim Bowden listed for the 5 managers there on the hot seat. I'll go through them, and then we'll circle back to Oli. Derek Shelton of the Pirates, although I don't know what he's supposed to do. Here's another one. Bud Black of the Rockies.
It's
Good
like
luck.
giving a guy a Dixie cup and tell him to keep the Titanic afloat.
Right, here you go.
Figure it out.
We're going to need you.
Well, we gave you something to do it.
Come on.
Sorry.
It's accurate.
He's working.
It is. Anyways, Oli Marmol. Let's go back to something. Oli Marmol, how much pressure is he under? He's under an immense amount of pressure. He's on his last year of his contract. He had one good year, one horrible year. He's coming off the worst, the Cardinals' worst season in how long, if not the worst ever, Bob? Of course he's under pressure. Then his front office is like, yeah, we fixed the problems, so if you don't win, this is your fault. He's under an immense amount of pressure.
Yeah, and it's somewhat unfair, too, because I don't know if it was Carey or you, Anthony, who brought it up the other day that nobody gives Oli any credit for the first year he managed. Yeah. They just give him the blame for the second year.
Carey brought it up, and I told you why. Or actually, I just demonstrated
Which was
how people.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was an epic. It was an epic segment.
What did we call that? Something machine. The blame Oli machine or something.
Yeah. But so the pressure, yes. To answer the question, yes, there's a lot of pressure on Oli Marmol. There's a lot of pressure on every single manager or coach in pro sports. But right now, Oli Marmol, it's like everybody's pointing the finger at him for last year.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily all his fault. Does he have a part in it? Yes. There's equal parts between the front office, the players, and the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's what makes up your team.
Yep.
And is Oli under pressure? Yeah, he is. He's got this is his last year of his contract. There's been no talk of extending it. So basically, if he has a bad run, he's done. Mm-hmm. And it's already sunk in cost. The Cardinals don't care.
Right. Well, here's the other thing, guys. Former big leaguer Albert Pujols was recently announced as the manager of an upcoming Dominican Winter League team. Alden Gonzalez of ESPN relays that Pujols is hoping to manage in the majors someday.
Well, him and Yachty are going to have to fight
sharks circling the prey.
Absolutely.
Just wait. There's one more coming. There's one more coming.
One more left out there?
Yeah, there's one more. And as soon as he's done at the Grand Ole Opry, I'm telling you.
He's going to be circling.
He's going to be circling you.
Circling this Cardinals job.
You said, what's that? That's Adam Wainwright.
Oh, my goodness.
You're right, though. There's blood in the water. Sharks are on their way.
Circling.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And these sharks can bite, too.
If you are Oli Marmol, the pressure is real. Mm-hmm. And I think he understands that. And obviously, you do understand that if you are in the last year of your contract, there is no, as far as we know, there have been no talks of adding more time or more years to your contract. Nope. And so it's win or go home, essentially. And if he doesn't win, I don't know how long he keeps or retains his job. I don't know if he makes it through the entire season or if they say, you know what, it's been fun, it's been real, see you soon. But it's definitely some pressure.
What does Oli have to do?
I was about to ask the same question.
Make it to the playoffs.
You're right.
Win the division.
No, but is that enough?
Does he have to win a series?
I think you have to win a series. I think you have to make it to the playoffs, win a series, and put yourself in position to maybe, potentially be in the NLCS.
I agree.
You got to win. You got to win one.
At minimum, he's got to win one series.
He's got to get to the divisional series at minimum.
Yes.
Otherwise, he's done.
Oh, no question.
Agreed.
And you got Yachty, you got Albert, and
what if
other guys circling?
Mm-hmm.
What if they're like the best team in baseball, and you don't win that divisional round?
I think you have to win that
you got like
first
100
round.
wins.
I think you have to win that first round,
regardless.
100 wins. That's a lot.
That's a lot of wins, Carey. Okay,
I'm giving you scenario.
Yeah, if it's 100
If
wins.
we get to 100 wins, I guarantee you, Oli will not be fired.
Okay.
They're not going to get to 100.
No, they're not. Yeah, they're not. Jamie, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That was smart.
Would Albert even be able to manage the Cardinals with the Angels thing? Is that
He's
still
a smart
thing?
guy, Marshy. He could do it for sure.
He's got a job with the Angels.
Does he still have that?
I think they'll probably.
10-year
I'm sure they can
thing.
figure something out.
They can
Then extend it
They can let him out of it.
or tack on more years after he's done.
Albert literally said when he was with us on the fast lane the one time, literally said, it is what I make of it.
Totally. That's exactly what he said.
Well, sounds like I can do what I need to do when I need to do it.
And he shows up, shakes some hands, says hi, and then that's good for 1 year.
Absolutely.
So if the Cardinals don't have to play in the wild card round, they make it to the division round, but they lose.
I think that's enough to keep your job. If you play good enough baseball that you don't even have to play in the wild card round, I think that's.
And you're in LDS you're waiting on one of the wild card winners.
I think that should be enough for
even
Oli.
if it's not 100 wins.
Yeah.
91 wins.
I think if you get past that first round, whether it's a bye or you win your way through it, I think that speaks volumes as to the success your team has had.
I think so too.
Okay. There you go. That's the bar.
Carey's not happy.
No, I'm good.
I can tell you. You
good.
can see how Carey gets now. I'm starting to learn his patterns. Yeah, I see what's going on here.
I'm good. He got to win.
That's what he is. Oh no, I'm good. I'm fine. No, I'm fine. He's not.
He's not fine.
You're probably right there.
All right.
I see what's going on around here.
Following last night's game, please tell us why you hate Jordan Kyrou, because that dude played outstanding last
Tell
night.
me why you still hate him.
Tell me why you still hate him. That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you are looking to insure your car or your home right now, let me tell you about Allstate and the Bibb Agency. A couple things. One, they're going to fight for you to get the lowest rate possible. Tracy Bibb does a fantastic job of also recognizing what kind of coverage that you need and what amount of coverage. Because that's the thing. When I first went over to the Bibb Agency, I didn't have the right amount of coverage. And my agent at the time, who was just literally a 1-800 number, never told me about it. So Tracy Bibb took care of me immediately. That's the moment I knew to switch everything over to the Bibb Agency. And I haven't had to worry for a second since joining the Bibb Agency. Tracy treats you like family. And she also treats the community like family, always doing great things within the community, raising money with different charities. So please jump on her Facebook page and check out what she's doing now. And you can also give her a call for a free non-committal quote. That number's 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues pick up a victory last night against the New York Islanders. 4-0 was the final. Jordan Binnington stopped 38 shots in his 15th career shutout. He picked up win number 137, tying Curtis Joseph on the Blues all-time wins leaderboard. Pavel Buchnevich had a hat trick last night as he scored goals 20, 21, and 22 on the season. The Blues will look for another victory against the Detroit Red Wings tomorrow. Pregame starts at 10 a.m. Puck drop is at 11, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Yeah, a little bit. I think, to be honest, I think Kyrou carried our line tonight, the way he played, and, battling, winning puck battles, using his speed, his agility. So he created most of the chances for us tonight.
So when we threw out this question, please tell us why you still hate Jordan Kyrou following last night's game. Jamie, you somehow were still surprised at the reaction that we got on the Air Cover Service text line, 314-399-9646. Jamie,
I showed him.
Jamie, to paraphrase Jamie in the office, he was like, what are people going to say now?
They hate him.
I mean, they don't like him.
It's crazy.
They don't like him, the player.
Yeah,
Let's,
him
personally.
Yeah. And I know some
don't know
people
if it's
said
maybe.
Some people said hate's a strong word, but then 75 others used it quite fine.
Let's start here. Jamie, you also asked us in the office, out of, take away Buchnevich and take away Binnington, who was the best player on the ice last night? And to a man, we all said Jordan Kyrou.
Yep.
Jordan Kyrou last night played well defensively. He sparked plays offensively. He was the ultimate 200-foot player. But we also get text messages like, well, if he plays like that last night, why can't he play like that consistently? And I think that's probably the biggest complaint that people have about him.
Don't be afraid to get involved. The Air Comfort Service text line is up and running. It's 314-399-9646, or leave us a mic drop. Our guy Marshy is waiting. He knows that you guys are eager to leave us a mic drop, so get on the 101 ESPN mobile app, click the little microphone there, and send in your mic drop, and we can discuss all of this. But yeah, it's wild how people just have this unrest when it comes to Jordan Kyrou. And the one text from the 573 says, and I quote, "I still hate Jordan Kyrou because of the way he played last night." Yes, it was very good, but he does that 1 out of every 6 games. If he played like that 3 out of every 4 or 5 games, it'd be a whole different story, and it actually would make someone like him. But when we know he doesn't try most of the time, that's where the fans' problem is. Okay, one thing is I don't think he's not trying. I just think that this is the way he's always played, and he's never had to bring that 200-foot game for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
He's finally, with the contract attached to his performance now, he is being held accountable. He is. And one thing I'll say by watching Jordan Kyrou on a daily basis, he's making progress. And I understand if there are moments in a game that he makes mistakes. I can tell you this right now, and Carey, you know this. I've told people several times, the coach can clip video clips of your shifts or your plays, and in the same game can make you look like a hero or make you look like a zero, depending on which plays he picks to clip for the video. And Jordan Kyrou is much like that, because you can clip all of the good plays and be like, man, that guy's a rock star. But then you take in the other side of it, and he's got some turnovers, a missed play defensively. Maybe he doesn't finish a hit. Maybe he doesn't drive to the net. And you're like, that guy's awful. Same player, same exact game, but you're choosing what to look for.
Right.
And I think some people look for the negatives because that's what they have this anger about Jordan Kyrou. He's making $8.1 million. He's got to be, Nathan McKinnon out there. Well, no, he's not Nathan McKinnon, and he never will be. But what he can be is what you saw last night. A guy that can back check, create some things defensively, get in on the forecheck. For that. How about that? Jordan Kyrou got in on the forecheck, caused a turnover, made a play to Robert Thomas. It ended up in the back of the net. And I'm not sitting here trying to BS anybody and say that I think Jordan Kyrou is a great 200-foot player. I'm not. Anthony, I've told you this before. Carey, you may have been part of the show. I'm not sure yet. But I literally said, I don't want him to be a 200-foot player. I don't. It's nice every now and then, but overall, I need that machine to create offense for me.
Yeah.
And with skilled players that are dynamic, that are going to try things from time to time, those highlight reel goals that happen, it's because these players try things that are beyond the normal. And when they're not successful, they turn into turnovers. So you can't just cherry pick that. Because if Jordan Kyrou toe drags a defenseman, goes around and tucks it top shelf, you're like, my gosh, what a play that was. But if Jordan Kyrou goes down the same thing, toe drags a defenseman, gets the puck poked away, that guy passes it up for a breakaway and they score, you're like, that's a terrible play. But that's a dynamic player. And that's you live and die by the sword with one of those guys.
Sure.
That's what it is. Look around the NHL, all of them. Watch Connor McDavid. Connor McJesus himself turns the puck over. He makes bad passes. He blindly passes to people that aren't there. But nobody gets angry. Because it's tilted, right? Because he makes way more plays that are good than bad.
Sure.
So all I'm saying is that Jordan Kyrou played a really good game last night. I do see progress in his overall game. He still has a lot of work to go to get to where I'm sure most fans would like him to be, but he's headed in the right direction.
Yeah, they are. It always starts with the money, right? And if people feel like the effort is not there every single night, I think that is what's frustrating, because you did ask who was the best player other than Buch and Bennington last night. Jordan Kyrou. He played well. He did some fantastic things, had a couple assists. But I think people get frustrated because you know that ability is there to do it. And if you don't do it every single night, then people think you're just lazy, or it's just not in you, or you're not a good teammate. And then that narrative starts to run. And, I think one of the prime examples of what you're talking about is the pass. I think it was the second goal by Buchnevich. To me, it looked like he should have shot that puck. He should have. And now you pass it to Buchnevich. If he doesn't score, then people are probably criticizing him for saying, why didn't you shoot it? You're right there. That's a perfect
and that play
example.
Has happened a lot this year.
It has. And it worked out that way. But if it didn't work out, that would be a question. Well, why isn't he's right in front of the net. Why didn't he shoot it? Those are some of the examples I think that you're speaking of. And it's just him. But then part of it also, you have to think back, because there's a texter on here that says, I don't like Kyrou because he got Chief fired. And so that
he didn't singularly.
He did not. But
he's not the one guy. He didn't walk up to Tom Stillman and say, "Hey, I'm done with this guy."
Look, Coach Killer Kyrou from the 314.
Yeah.
That, I think, became a part of it as well. And then what he said
I agree.
After, it's not my coach, and how he got booed. So when you asked who is on the Mount Rushmore of most, I said, I think Jordan Kyrou was on there. You like, no way. I said, yeah. And you looked at the text like, you know what? You're probably right.
He's on there.
He is on there.
For our listeners who are wondering what the hell we're talking about, we may or may not unleash this at some point, but we were discussing off air the Mount Rushmore of most disliked sports figures in St. Louis.
Current.
Like whether it's Cardinals, City SC, Blues, I mean, you name it. Who are they for you? And, we nailed a couple right away real quick, and then Carey through Jordan Kyrou, and I was like, wow, really? You think people still? And I'm like, oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah. After reading the text messages, yep.
I wonder if there's people that don't necessarily understand the point production for the contract that he has. Like, if you looked at some of the other players that are around that $8 million mark, I think you'd rather take Jordan Kyrou. Now, there's some guys that are making just a little bit more.
Brad Marchand's making 6.5, Marshy.
That guy's also been in the league for way longer. But like Rupe Hintz, right? He's making roughly like $300,000 more than Jordan Kyrou. He only has like 5 or 6 more points than Jordan Kyrou does. Like if you look at some of the other guys, Ryan Johansson, would you rather have Ryan Johansson or would you rather have Jordan Kyrou? A lot of the guys that are making $8 million are defensemen, like Brent Burns.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Brent Burns or would you rather have a goal scorer in Jordan Kyrou?
I'd take Burns. What? No, you make
Jamie has spoken.
You make a good point. And look, I am very critical of Jordan Kyrou. I have been a lot in the past, and I still am. I hold him to a higher standard. But when I see progress, you can't just kick progress in the Liberty Bells all the time, too. Sometimes you have to actually applaud the player for getting better in a direction.
Right. People want Jordan Kyrou. As soon as he signed the contract, they want him to be a finished product.
We want him to score 50 goals.
Well, they wanted him to be Ryan O'Reilly meets Connor McDavid.
Right.
That's what they wanted.
And he hasn't been.
No. He hasn't been either of those guys.
So
if you look at his stats, though, Anthony, like his stats, he's 45 points in 56 games, and that is not – he should be a point-a-game guy.
No question there.
Should absolutely be a point-a-game guy, but if you go over his last couple of seasons here, in 21-22, he had 75 points in 74 games, he had 27 goals. You go to 22-23, he had 73 points in 79 games, he had 37 goals. And right now he's sitting at 45 points in 56 games with 19 goals. He's probably going to tickle 30 this year for goals, and he's probably going to get to that 70, 65-ish points. Like, this is what your $8 million player is.
Right.
I think a lot of people look at work ethic, and when you think of St. Louis, you think of that lunch pail mentality. And I wonder if that's why people aren't resonating with Jordan Kyrou and the way that he plays. But you look at a guy like David Perron. David Perron wasn't the finished product that we've seen the past few years here in St. Louis, now in Detroit. He was a completely different player. So I think we got to give this guy some time to let him mature to become the player that he's supposed to be. And if he doesn't, then down the line, we can have that conversation.
And I think that's why Doug Armstrong, and I'm not speaking for Army here, I'm speaking for myself, but I think that's why Doug Armstrong made sure that these contracts that these guys got, they weren't guaranteed the no movement clause. They weren't guaranteed the no trade clause. If you look at Jordan Kyrou, he's 8.1 and he doesn't have any protection from the trade world for the next 2 or 3 years. I'm trying to find it here as we go. Yeah. So for this year and next year, he doesn't have a no trade clause. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't progress the right way, or Army's not happy with what's going on, you can move the player. In 25-26, he has a no trade clause that kicks in. So Army's given a little bit of runway here to see if the player can turn into something a little bit bigger, a little bit better. And if he doesn't, then you can move the player. Or if you're satisfied with what he's actually doing, then the no trade kicks in.
That's Jamie Rivers. That's Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. We talked earlier about Oli Marmol being one of the managers, one of the top managers that's under the most pressure heading into the 2024 MLB season. What about Oli Marmol in the front office? Are they under the most pressure in baseball to win this season? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, the NBA is always fun to watch. It's fun to use FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And it's even more fun when you get involved with the no-sweat same-game parlay from FanDuel for every Thursday with TNT Thursdays. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or if you're an existing customer. You'll get bonus bets back if your same-game parlay doesn't win on any NBA on TNT game.
Yeah, Jamie, the NBA same-game parlays are a perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. However you want to play, just head to FanDuel.com/fast to bet on the NBA with the no-sweat same-game parlay on TNT Thursdays. That's FanDuel.com/fast.
Yeah, then you can make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So the Athletic did a couple of recent articles about who's under pressure in Major League Baseball. We talked about Oli Marmol being second on Jim Bowden's list for top 5 managers that are under the most pressure. Oli Marmol and the Cardinals received the second most votes in terms of what manager front office combo is under the most pressure heading into the season. As they wrote, the good news for the Cardinals, our voters had mostly good things to say about an offseason in which they added Sonny Gray, Lance Lynn, and Kyle Gibson to the rotation and added depth to their bullpen with Andrew Kittredge and Keenan Middleton. The bad news for the Cardinals, their entire rotation might be 33 or older, and we heard lots of concern about their manager, Oli Marmol, and his ability to navigate this vessel's storms. They'd be at the top of my list of teams most likely to make a change of managers, said a rival NL exec. I just say this: don't go to sleep on the job Yachty did managing Puerto Rico in the Caribbean Series. I think that Oli is under more pressure than the front office of the Cardinals.
Well, yeah, they got jobs.
He's got the contract that's expiring.
Yeah, Mo gave himself an extra year, remember?
Here you go.
You know what? I'm worth it.
I'll be fine.
He literally did that. Now, the DeWitts did have to sign off on it.
You guys.
In all fairness to Mo.
Yeah, they gladly did.
You figure it out. I think Oli, I don't like the situation that Oli's in, quite honestly. I don't. I mean, it's a show me what you can do situation, but I feel like everything is directed at Oli right now. Mm-hmm. So if Nolan Arenado and whomever else you pick, Paul Goldschmidt and Wilson Contreras, if they have a bad year,
Oli's fault.
Oli's fault. No question. Oli's getting fired, or he's not getting rehired. They're just going to let him walk. And yet Oli can't do anything about taking swings for those guys, or
you clearly have to sit those guys.
But isn't that, just play devil's advocate?
Hey, I know you make $35 million.
You're gonna sit,
but Taylor,
you figure it out.
Mater's playing third.
Yeah,
okay.
You can bench him, right? But to play devil's advocate, isn't that the case for every coach? Like Craig Berube won a cup here. His players weren't getting it done on a consistent level, and cost him his job.
No, I agree. This is not what I'm saying is not isolated to Oli Marmol, but we're just talking about him right now. And if we're just talking about Oli Marmol, then because he doesn't have a Stanley Cup, because he doesn't have a World Series, because at least Chief, last year, a lot of coaches would have lost their job last year. When Doug Armstrong,
especially in the NHL.
Especially in the NHL. People are quick, right? Mm-hmm. But Army didn't do that. He gave Chief the vote of confidence, which is usually the kiss of death, which didn't happen. But he gave him the vote of confidence and then instructed the fan base as to how this was going to work and fulfilled that. Exactly. Now, this year, things started to veer off the course again, at least according to Doug Armstrong. And so he made a decision. He made a change. But I don't feel, but he gave Craig Berube that latitude because of what he was able to do as a coach before. Yeah. Oli Marmol doesn't have that. He doesn't have a championship. He doesn't have any rings or any history of winning with this organization.
Made it to the playoffs.
No, but you know what I'm saying, Carey.
I do. I don't think anybody else does. I don't think anyone else realizes that they actually went to the playoffs in 2022. I don't think
but that wasn't
care.
Him. That was Albert, remember?
Ah, gosh darn it. It was Albert and Yachty.
Do we have to do this again?
It's my fault. I forget the 93 wins. His name is there, technically.
Yeah.
However,
he was along for the ride.
Yeah, okay.
Last year was Carey, come on, man.
First year actually managing.
We've been through this. 2 years ago, he was along for the ride. Last year, he was the problem.
Well, I don't know how that works that fast. It doesn't seem fair.
It just does.
It doesn't seem fair, though.
Well, I mean, do you have questions? I can answer them for you.
Plenty.
Go ahead.
Plenty. I mean, did he not put together the lineups every single day in 2022?
That was probably Albert.
Okay. So in 2023, it was all him. It was all him, 23?
Last year? Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So 2022, he helped Goldie and Arenado become MVP candidates, or
no, they did that themselves. The players play.
Okay, so 23, they weren't MVP candidates, so that was
he didn't coach them right. I don't understand why we have to go through this again.
22, they brought Jordan Montgomery in, and he performed really, really well. He was that was Oli helping assist that role, correct?
Oh, that was Mad Dog Maddox.
Yeah.
Oh, so
You got
23, Mad
you got
Dog.
rid of the claw, and that's what happened.
So 23,
Right.
obviously, Jordan Montgomery, Jack Flair, they didn't have that there.
Yeah,
And-
Maddox wasn't there.
Yeah, Maddox wasn't there because him and Oli probably couldn't get along.
Oh, man, this is hard. This is tough. Seems unfair, guys.
Now,
Doesn't seem fair.
where do we get to blame Mo in all of this?
Oh,
Because
for
I know
everything
people
else.
are doing it.
Yeah, for everything else.
Where does he factor in? Everything else you say?
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
he hired Ollie.
Man, this guy.
Jamie gets it.
Smart. It's like Sherlock Holmes over here.
Yeah.
I don't know how that doesn't seem right to me, guys.
What?
No, it is right.
You won. His name is next to the 93 wins.
Carey, that's the Cardinal Way, baby.
Listen, the Cardinals are next to the 93 wins. Okay. Just happy to be there. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got a returning Gauntlet contestant. Oh, by the way, Carey had his tiebreaker moment yesterday.
Missed it.
Oh.
I didn't go 3,000, but
He
I might
didn't
as
go
well have.
3,000.
I should have.
But you had your moment?
I had a moment.
It's tough. In those moments, it sucks, man.
Listening is hard, Jamie. Sometimes you just listen to the question and you get the answer.
Was the answer in the question?
Yeah. In one,
It was in a
In one of the
previous
games,
question.
yeah, it was in the question one. So
The actual
what was the
answer
category?
wasn't there, though, but it was.
Hey,
It was football?
dude, Carey self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, a few of them.
How many teams did Brett Favre play for in his career?
Falcons, Packers.
I'm all right, guys.
Jets,
It's been a good show.
Vikings.
All right, see you all. It's been good. All
4.
right, y'all take care.
4.
That's correct.
You all finish this up.
What did he say?
So the next question was.
No, come here. Don't you go anywhere. This is fun now.
So the next question was, who did Brett Favre start his career with? Carey said 3 teams. The previous question then goes,
Which team did he forget?
The Falcons.
Oh, and then the next question, the hamster realized it?
Yes.
In your defense,
Oh,
it's
that
easy to
hurts.
forget about the Falcons.
It did. Well, I was like,
I feel for you, too, because in hockey, sometimes there's questions like that, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, but the pressure's on because it's hockey.
Jamie, that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part
we don't have
was
to do that.
no.
All right.
We're trying to catch Jamie up on what happened yesterday before we get to round 2.
Okay.
And Tom Brady has thrown for over 89,000 yards. Which other quarterback has done that or whatever it was?
Who's second on the
all
list?
time.
Drew Brees.
Carey
There you
nailed
go.
that.
Got that.
Yeah,
Carey
Drew
Nailed
Brees.
it. Then the tiebreaker.
Carey?
Yeah.
Tiebreaker question was, how many yards has Tom Brady thrown for in his career?
In his career, well, 89,000 easily. So
That's a good start.
let's say, do we know the number? Do you know the number?
It doesn't
matter.
It doesn't matter.
I would have said 90,000 probably.
If you wrote down
That's what
89,
I said. It's not what I said.
It's not what he said.
77,000.
fairness, fairness was question 1, so Carey had long forgotten about it. And he was kicking himself for the Brett Favre.
Oh, man. I cleared my slate after that one. I just...
Okay, that might be worse than the 3,000 moment. It might be worse.
All right, second round of the Gauntlet next on 101
Anthony, we
ESPN.
gave him the answers to the
We
test.
certainly
man,
did, Jamie.
I didn't
Yeah,
pay.
you didn't take him. No.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you.
I know. It's terrible.
Jamie, when it comes to working with the best in the business in terms of your home loan or securing a home loan or just being in the right spot when it comes to being attractive in a deal where you're going to buy a house. Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation, he's the best. And I love how he hands out his personal cell phone number because he doesn't want you to have to sit on the phone and press 1, press 2, press 3. Then you don't even get to talk to anybody 45 minutes into the call. He provides that old school customer feel, that old school customer service, because he wants you to call because he knows he can take care of you. And a lot of times, he's saving you a lot of money over the course of a loan.
Yeah, the one thing that I don't want to have to do is try to solve my problems on my own. And that's how you create more problems for yourself. And when it comes to purchasing a home or debt consolidation, any of those things, I'm absolutely calling Stewie. He gives out his personal cell phone number, so it's real easy. Just give him a call or text him at 314-324-4440.
Again, that number is 314-324-4440.
When you get a hold of Stewie, tell him that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. He loves hearing that stuff. You're going to be so happy with Stewie. You're going to thank us every time you see us. But if you can't remember that number, Anthony, what can they do?
You can always Google the Bagel Loan.
NMLS number 226715.
Four warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit mastor.com.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter. Time for the Gauntlet. 4:05, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We welcome back Cole after beating Carey yesterday in round 1. Cole's back for round 2. What's up, Cole?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing good. We're just filling in Jamie, who missed yesterday's Gauntlet on the debacle that was yesterday's Gauntlet.
Carey, it was a long day, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're good.
Listening. I got to start listening better.
I feel like you've heard that before.
Oh, trust me. A time or two, Jamie. Just a time or two.
Me too. I know you find that hard to believe, but me too.
All right, Cole. You said that you wanted Jamie yesterday. You going after Jamie today?
I have some friends listening who said if I don't, then I'm going to hear about it. So I'm going to go with Jamie today.
Oh, okay, man of his word.
Right, bring it on, Donkey Kong. All right, Cole. Good luck, buddy.
All right, so Jamie's
Hey, I said good luck.
He didn't say anything.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm going to go get in the zone now.
I don't think you wanted to say that.
I didn't. Not very nice.
Jamie is going to head to the cone of silence right now. Cole, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marcy. Let's go.
Cole, you said anything but random yesterday. You still feel that way?
With Jamie, I'd also take no hockey.
No hockey, no random.
Well,
Wow, Carey, you didn't have to laugh like that. What's the worst of the two? Is it random or hockey?
So with random, I feel like I got a shot because I feel like we'll both be guessing. So I would prefer random.
Well, good news. It's random.
All right, there we go.
It's random today. All right, you're going to get 4 random questions. Jamie will get the same 4 random questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. And if you ask for the options, those questions are worth 1 point. Cole, you ready?
Ready.
Question number 1. Who was the founder of the Rolling Stones? Who was the founder of the Rolling Stones?
I'm going to go heavy on the options today. I'll take them.
Okay. Keith Richards, Brian Jones, or Christian Bishop?
I am going to go with, was it Keith Richards? The final answer, the first one?
Keith Richards, Brian Jones, Christian Bishop.
I'll go with Keith Richards, final answer.
All right, Cole, question number 2. Around 1665, Sir Isaac Newton performed a series of experiments which revealed how many colors in the rainbow?
You know what? Let's just be consistent. Let's go options one more time.
Is it 7, 8, or 10?
I will go with 8. Final answer.
Question number 3. What is the capital of North Dakota?
Oh, this feels like one that Jamie might get. I don't know. I'm going to go options. 3rd time.
Is it Montpelier, Fargo, or Bismarck?
Let's see. I'm going to go Bismarck. Final answer.
Final question, Cole. Name the author of The Outsiders. Name the author of The Outsiders.
You know, let's just hit all 4 with the options.
All right. Herman Melville, S.E. Hinton, or Jack Davenport? Herman Melville, S.E. Hinton, or Jack Davenport?
Let's go Melville. Final answer.
Okay. Let's bring back Jamie. Cole, how you feeling?
Terrible. Not very good.
All right. That's a tough one.
Usually
That's a tough one. Some people listen to it, it's like, not for me. Well, good for you. Jamie, how are you?
Good. Mike Ryder is
Still here?
Playing some pump-up music. It's Slipknot playing in there.
Wow, little Slipknot.
We had a mosh pit going in there.
Holy
Mike Ryder lost 2 teeth, but he was happy to do it.
Still working, though.
He's ready to go in there.
Going.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, your category today is completely random.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let's go. Let's party.
Well, before we do, Carey, go ahead and tell him.
Jamie? Pack a lunch.
Okay.
Question one, Jamie, excuse me. Who was the founder of the Rolling Stones?
The founder?
Who was the founder of the Rolling Stones?
A founder?
Yeah.
Options, please.
Keith Richards, Brian Jones, or Christian Bishop?
I'll just go with the obvious, Keith Richards. Final answer.
Question number 2. Around 1665, Sir Isaac Newton performed a series of experiments which revealed how many colors in the rainbow?
Oh, wow. Okay. 6.
We're asking you.
I know. Taste the rainbow, Marshy. Skittles.
Final answer? No.
Taste the rainbow. Skittles, Carey.
Skittles. Final answer. Skittles are always the answer.
You never know.
Very true.
You never know. So let's go through this. Let's try and think of rainbow. I think there's 6. Or is there 5? It's one or the other. Anthony, which one is it?
Jamie, I wish you could help.
All right. Draw a little rainbow here. 5. Final answer.
Question number 3. What is the capital of North Dakota?
These are really random. North Dakota. Give me the options, please.
Is it Montpelier, Fargo, or Bismarck?
Bismarck. Final answer.
Question number 4, Jamie Rivers. Name the author of The Outsiders. Name the author of The Outsiders.
I know about the movie, don't know about the book. Options, please.
Herman Melville, S.E. Hinton, Jack Davenport.
I've heard of Hinton before. I haven't heard of the other guys before. But that doesn't mean it's right, Anthony. Yeah, I mean, I just, yeah. Hinton. Final answer.
Hinton, final answer. Let's go over these.
Oh, this one's puke-worthy. Not great.
Jamie versus Cole in round 2 for Cole. Who is the founder of the Rolling Stones? Cole, you said Keith Richards. Jamie, you said Keith Richards. Correct answer is
Brian Jones.
Brian Jones. So we have a 0-0 tie. Around 1665, Sir Isaac Newton performed a series of experiments which revealed how many colors in a rainbow. For those of us who've watched Sesame Streets with the kiddos, we know that the rainbow is Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv, which would be, well, Cole said 8. You said 5. Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, giving you 7 colors in the rainbow.
Not in my rainbow.
You drew 5 on your screen there for the rainbow.
I did.
Yeah.
He had it all.
You're fine. So we have
Indigo. Who the hell remembers that?
So we have a 0-0 tie. What is the capital of North Dakota?
Anthony.
Cole, you said Bismarck. Jamie, you said Bismarck. Correct answer is?
Should be Grand Forks, but it is Bismarck.
It is Bismarck. Both of you needed the options. We have a 1-1 tie. It comes down to this.
If he knows this one, screw me.
Name the author of The Outsiders. Both of you took the options. One of you is correct. Cole, you said Herman Melville. Jamie, you said Hinton because I've heard of him. I haven't heard of the other guys.
No other reason.
We can eliminate Jack Davenport. That's not the answer.
Okay.
Cole.
You have chosen poorly.
It is the guy you heard of. S.E. Hinton is the correct answer, giving Jamie 2 points today. 2 points better than 1. Cole, I'm sorry. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
Feel it, Cole.
It's all right, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks, Cole. Have a great weekend, buddy.
Have a great weekend, buddy.
Appreciate it, guys. You too.
All right. To Jamie, congrats, man.
That's not a stellar performance.
You know what?
Win is a
It's
win.
a dub.
Yeah, it's a
Win
dub.
is a win.
Yep.
S.E. Hinton, though, that does sound like the author of, like,
You're
a
absolutely
book,
right.
Like,
Yes.
they don't actually use their real name.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, A.T. Stalter.
You're right, though. They usually use the
ugly.
initials. You know what? Listen, you're fine, Jamie. You're absolutely fine. Nice job. You got the W. All right. Did Buchnevich's hat trick last night make trade talks that much more interesting? Maybe to some. That's where I got Jamie Rivers. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, if you're a contractor or you own a business that needs recycling, you need to learn more about my good friends over at Scrap Mart Metals. They are tailor-made for your business to meet your budget and your schedule. They understand that job site cleanup for contractors is a mess. If you set up a business account with Scrap Mart Metals, recycling is one less thing you have to do during cleanup. They will pick up anything that you need recycled and take it to one of their locations. And the best part about it, you will get a check the same day. Or if you want to haul those materials, they understand you have equipment that breaks down usually. And sometimes it needs repair. Sometimes you need to just get rid of it. You can haul it yourself to one of their convenient locations at Valley Park, Peebly, or Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. Copper, wire, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, batteries, electric motors, steel, cast irons. It's recycling made easy, and they offer a drive-on scale that is convenient, and they will give you the highest payout. You will always get top dollar for your scrap metals. Just visit them online at scrapmartmetals.com. That's scrapmartmetals.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
Did Pavel Buchnevich's hat trick last night make trade talks that much more interesting? Blues beat the Islanders last night 4-0. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter. Jamie, I know that you're not going to buy into this because you feel as though that Pavel Buchnevich should not be dealt at this year's deadline, provided that the Blues remain in playoff contention.
Yeah, that's the big asterisk right there.
And right now they are in playoff contention. Why give up a player that is helping you make the playoffs, which is vital this season for the viability or the sustainability of the Blues in terms of spending to the cap? So no, I don't think one game. I'm with you. I don't think one game is going to change that. That is the big thing, not how Buchnevich plays between now and the deadline.
No, and you said it earlier too. One game with a hat trick or one game when he's -3 is really not going to affect what teams are looking for.
Right.
So if you're the Boston Bruins and you're thinking about adding Pavel Buchnevich, you're not looking at a singular game. Mm-hmm. You're looking at the body of work. And I can tell you this, that these guys have scouts at every single game.
Yeah.
That's one thing that, being back in the buildings for every game now, I see guys all the time. They talk we have relationships, whether it's former teammates or guys I played against or guys I played with in junior hockey, and they'll tell me what they're looking at. They'll ask me my opinion about certain players. And so I know how many people are there on a nightly basis watching certain players. There are a lot of people right now watching Pavel Buchnevich for obvious reasons. So they're not just going to look at the one game and go, hey, by the way, hey, boss, trade for him because he's really good. Or, hey, boss, don't trade for him. This guy sucks.
Yeah.
They've got a massive resume or database, rather, of what he brings to the table. So I don't know. Everything changes for me if we look at the Blues as far as their schedule is concerned. And I said it earlier, and I'll just repeat myself again. It's what they do here over the next, 5 or 6 games. Let's just do the math here. They got Detroit, Winnipeg, Edmonton. That's 3 games. I switch the months here, Anthony. Bear with me. 4, 5, 6, 7 games before the deadline. Mm-hmm. And they play the Wild, the Devils, the Islanders, the Flyers, and, of course, they've got Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Detroit. If they, in those 7 games, if they go 4-3 or better, 5-2, let's say, you're not trading Pavel Buchnevich.
No.
Because odds are the teams that are behind you right now, the Predators, the Wild, the Kraken, they're going to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. They're just slightly above 500 as well. Mm-hmm. So that to me is, kind of where you have to be. Ultimately 5-2 would be awesome. But if for some reason you're 1-6 or 2-5 over these next 5 games, that could create the wholesale mentality for Doug Armstrong of we're not there. And maybe the Predators now are 4 points ahead of you and it's just not working. That will change everything. But right now, I think Pavel Buchnevich, I know he makes you a better team. He makes you more competitive on a nightly basis. And without him last night, you probably don't win that game. Now, certainly without Jordan Binnington, you don't win that game either. Mm-hmm. But you still need some guys who can put the puck in the net, and Booch can be that guy. And another thing about Booch is he's really well-liked in the locker room. Like, he's a quirky dude, he's a funny dude, but he's a competitor, man. You watch this guy every single shift, he expects to do something right.
Right.
And when he doesn't, he comes to the bench, and he's mad, and he's yelling at himself, and, he's not a guy that... To me, he helps exemplify what you want from your guys.
Right.
So if I'm Jake Neighbors or Zach Bolduc and I'm looking over at Pavel Buchnevich, who expects every single shift to be a good one, well, how can I go out there now and not do the same?
Yep.
It does become contagious for those guys.
Absolutely.
So I think Pavel Buchnevich should stay here till the offseason. If there's really good opportunities in the offseason, I think Doug Armstrong should explore those opportunities. But I think this team has done enough to warrant the ability to compete for a playoff spot.
And I'm sure as you said, the players want him to be around, and he wants to be around. He doesn't. Most times you want to finish what you started, and so he has done a really good job. Had a really good game last night, and hopefully they can have more games like last night than the previous games, because that's as you said, the Predators are right on their heels. They're both 62 points, so a few games here or there. If they are not in that number 2 seed in the wild card, then maybe you start looking in other directions. But I agree with you. I think it would be doing this team a disservice to be right there on the cusp of being in the playoffs and then trade away a guy that's well-liked and one of your better players, a top-line forward, and saying, okay, you know what, the hell with it, we're going to shift and go in a different direction. And then you see the team just go downhill from there. Because you regardless of how you get in, and my motto, just get in.
Yeah.
That goes
you
for...
just want to get in.
I just want to get in.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Just get in. Don't shake your head yes, Anthony. Shake your head yes.
I will not.
Shake your head yes.
Unless you're talking about the Blues.
There you go. All right. Just get in. And anything can happen. We saw Jordan Binnington play a hell of a game last night. Now, will a second wild card seed make a run and make it all the way to the Stanley Cup final? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. But if you're not even in, you don't give yourself a chance to do so.
Yeah, and I just go back to my original thought, and of course I can't speak for Army, and I don't know what he's thinking. But if this team is right there on the cusp of being a playoff team, they deserve the opportunity to compete for the playoff spot. And my fan base deserves an opportunity to see their team back in the playoffs. And my ownership group deserves the opportunity to get the revenue from at least 2 playoff gates.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's more layers to it than just like, oh, get a draft pick. Just stock up those picks. Get a pile. You're going to get a draft pick anyways in the offseason if you play your cards right.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's no guarantee in those draft picks.
Yeah.
You know, there's players that the Blues have drafted in recent years that are nowhere to be found now. Dominic Bach, please stand up. He was a first rounder. You end up trading him in the Justin Falk deal, and I don't know if he ever really even played in Carolina.
Yeah.
He was a first rounder, though, Anthony.
Right.
Good thing you had it, right?
Yeah.
No. So you just never know. So for me,
Yeah, not every draft is created equal.
no, it certainly isn't. Not every player is worthy of being drafted in the first round. And even if they are, not every first-round pick plays professional sports.
I got a question for you. What if, what if come trade deadline, the Blues are offered something that they can't refuse, even though they are right there on the cusp of making the playoffs? Do you still, knowing that after the next season he will be a free agent, do you still say, okay, it's not what we want to do because we want to make a push towards the playoffs, but I just can't pass this deal up?
So what would that deal be? Like, you got to give me, you can't just say they give you a deal you can't refuse.
I mean, a couple of first-round picks that are not later in the draft.
Well, okay, but then why would that team be trading for him?
I don't know, Jamie.
Are they going to take a run at being 7th place?
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
So
they're going to lock them up in the next couple of years. That's their plan.
But I understand what you're saying. But the odds are it's not going to be.
It's not going to be a high draft pick.
No, it's going to be somebody who deems their team to be a contender. It's going to be someone who looks at Pavel Buchnevich and says, hey, that guy there, he's a great second or third liner for us. Because their team is so good.
Right.
Yeah.
And when that's the case, that team's probably pretty high up in the standings, which means you're looking at 25 to 32 in the picks.
It's not worth it.
Is it like, right? I mean, 2 first-round picks, but that's 2 first-round picks. I understand, but you probably still get a first round and a third round in the offseason as well.
Yeah.
So
you got to factor that in.
I would rather make the playoffs. I also think making the playoffs, it's part of the process in this retool for these young guys. Like if your general manager is trading your team out of the playoffs, but then is demanding that you go out there and compete every single game and demanding that there's accountability, like what's the message there?
Right.
Like we are, sir.
Then you just traded one of our best players.
Traded one of our guys who does some of that the best.
Right.
And now we're not going to make the playoffs, so like, it's a kick in the teeth, you know.
And the
I just don't. Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think Army will do that if his team is a playoff team.
I agree. We have the Sports Six Pack next, so if you have a question, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. We'll answer them next here on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues won 4-0 last night against the New York Islanders. Jordan Binnington picked up a shutout, and Pavel Buchnevich scored a hat trick. The Blues will be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Detroit Red Wings. Pregame starts at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. right here on 101 ESPN with the puck drop at 11. If you missed anything from today's show, including how many colors are in the rainbow or who wrote the book The Outsiders, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com. Check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our full shows and interviews there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Once again, Blues Red Wings tomorrow right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 10. Puck drop is at 11. We have our Sports Six Pack coming up next, so if you have a question for us, send it our way to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
Time for the Sports Six Pack here in the Fast Lane with Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions.
Question number one.
Anthony, I brought this up. Sorry for jumping the gun.
No, you're
there.
good. Yep.
I didn't think you'd pull out the Danny Mac. Please.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting it.
Love Dan. Want to make sure that he's represented.
Absolutely. So I threw this out in the office, and I want to know what you guys think, and I definitely want to know what the listeners think. But for this first question, who is the most liked current athlete in St. Louis?
The most liked.
Most liked. I said it was Jordan Binnington. Maybe I have some recency bias.
Current, it has to be an athlete.
Current athlete.
Front office guy.
Liked, and it's not like the best player or the most identifiable. It's the most liked.
Most liked.
This is difficult, man.
I think it's probably Lars Noop. I think Lars Noopar would be right there.
More than Binnington?
Yeah.
I think
so. I think there's a big percentage of Blues fans that still aren't sold on Binnington. We see the text line. Every time Binnington has a bad game or a bad night, they're like, see, the numbers don't lie. Like there's a big piece, and I don't see a lot of Lars Noopar. Sucks.
Tommy Edman. Is Tommy Edman on there?
I don't think people know.
I think people really like him, but I wouldn't put him
He's
ahead
kind
of
of
Binnington.
vanilla. You know, I think people are like, okay, it's Tommy Edman.
I think a lot of younger Cardinals fans like Tommy Edman.
But I think a lot of younger ones like Lars Noopar more.
Lars probably, especially after the World Baseball Classic.
See the way he grinds it too?
Yeah, he does grind it.
Big,
yeah.
And he twists it. Pepper
Absolutely.
grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a good visual representation.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Jordan Binnington.
I said A.J. McCarron.
Nobody even knows him.
They do know A.J.
Of course they know Kakal.
If A.J. McCarron walked into Aldi's right now down the street,
They probably wouldn't know.
He would walk through there.
Jordan Binnington,
they'd say,
no.
who's this big guy?
Lars Noopar, no.
They would know Binnington. For sure. For sure. And Lars Noopar, I guarantee they would know him. Lars, first of all, he's
this question at the end of the season.
I will say, though, I did go to I think I texted you guys this not too long ago, like a month or so ago, when I was out at some fast food, not fast food, but like some restaurant or whatever, and Jordan Binnington walked in, and I was literally the only person in there that knew who he was.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, hey, that's Jordan Binnington. But no one else.
I find that hard to believe because,
I don't
hear me
think
out,
so.
because
he got a mask on. You can't see his face.
Hear me out. I find that.
See my face.
Show me your face.
Show me your face.
Want to see my face, brother?
It's funny. It really is. I mean, there's no follow-up to it. That's why I can't.
Go ahead.
My point is, and this is just all things being equal, and there's a lot of places where I go, people recognize me, and I'm nobody. Really, on the
big deal in this.
Your
Big
face
deal in
is
this.
shown.
But Jordan Bennington's on TV,
But his
too.
face, trust me, as a football player.
But he's all over social media. He's all over. Like,
yeah, but so do they have? Because Jason Tatum is probably the answer. He's from here, but he doesn't play here.
No,
They telling me this 6'8" guy walks into a.
I'm talking about but we're talking. The question was like St. Louis athletes.
Yeah,
he's from.
not
I know,
from.
but he's
Okay, so currently playing.
Yeah.
Yes, currently playing in St. Louis.
Yeah. I don't know that we have one, which is sad.
What about
Shall we
any
go to the
city-
text line?
What about any city players like Roman
Klaus
Berkey?
and Roman Berkey.
Klaus, Tim Parker.
Yeah.
A lot of people love Oscar Sundqvist.
Yeah, that's true. But
He wants to be here.
Is he the most? Like, well, so does Torrey Kruger. People don't want him here.
Really doesn't matter.
You can stay. You're not making a bunch, but you
Get out.
out. Yeah, let's go to the text line. What do you got, Marsh?
Lots.
So we have Sonny. AJ McCarron is coming up quite a lot, actually. Paul Goldschmidt. Nolan Arenado. You have Carp. Robert Thomas. We have It's Klaus, you morons. We have that one.
That doesn't surprise me that it was phrased that way.
What do you say?
That specific name, that specific text, the way it came in like that.
Yeah,
does not surprise me that it did.
We have Newt. Jake Neighbors is on here. Tommy Edmond. That one's actually kind of surprising.
Randy Orton. That's a good one.
He
opened a company over here. He's right here in the mall. I talking to him not too long ago. You know this wellness place?
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah, Randy Orton's a
I
part
went to
of it.
high school with Randy.
Yeah, he's a big dude, man.
He is. We were in high school. Grade school and high school.
I could see Jake Neighbors being the most popular dude in a couple of, less than 3 years.
Yeah. But again, it's not the most popular. It's the most likable. People like him the most.
That's a tough.
If it's if it's most likable, then
It's Lars.
It's probably Lars.
Yeah.
Is
Although,
anybody
are we
do no
getting
wrong.
a lot of Lars? Maybe we're not.
Yeah, we've gotten a few Lars Newbars.
Okay.
He can do no wrong.
A lot of people like Tommy
Anthony,
Edmonds.
you're
too.
the chairman, or not the chairman, of course, but
he's
you're
the vice
part
president.
of it. Yeah, vice president.
Brooke is the president,
Yes.
founder, CEO. He's the.
I'm not a part of that. I just feel as though that when
Nutty
somebody
Noodles of New Nation, that I heard you screaming it when we were coming from the office.
No.
I was like, why is he yelling that? He's just yelling. Nutty Noodles!
I feel
New
like
Nation! What the hell is going on?
I feel like I have to.
Nutty Noodles! New Nation! And I was like, what is he doing?
That was Jamie.
That's great.
That was Jamie screaming about something else.
I'm sure I was. I don't know.
That wasn't me. But no, I feel like when you guys start to badmouth Lars Nootbaar, I got to bring up his stats. Say, hey, this has been a really good player
As
for
a
you.
reminder, as the vice president.
We like All right. We never really got an answer, so go question three, please.
Hey, is that a problem?
No.
Or is that a good thing?
You look at it both ways. The glass is either half empty or half full.
Come on. Is that a good thing? Is
Yeah,
that a
I
good
think
thing
it's
that
a
there's
good
not
thing.
one player?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. It means that people
I don't.
like.
I don't.
Really?
I think you should have. I think you
Just
should
one
have.
guy.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody.
It's one guy.
We really like
everybody
this
else. really
because
one
I'll
guy.
tell you why. Because one person embodies everything for that city, for that team, for that sport.
Like Jason Kelsey.
There you go. Like Patrick Mahomes. If you ask this question in Kansas City, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Who's he competing
Travis
with?
Kelsey with all
Travis
those
Kelce.
Swifties now.
It's
Pat
still
Mahomes.
And one of the Royals.
Bobby Witt Jr.?
No. He's a good player.
Whoever's on their soccer team?
No.
Nah.
It's going to be so. If you certain cities, there are people that embody what that city feels like it stands for, and
Would
the
be
fact that you
Pittsburgh.
don't have right now,
Yeah.
T.J. Watt or Sid the Kid.
I think it'd probably be T.J. Watt.
In Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
No, it's Sidney
It's
Crosby.
probably Crosby.
But how does Sidney
he's on-
Crosby he doesn't embody Pittsburgh.
But he embodies.
Wow.
But most likable is probably Sidney
He's won
Crosby.
championships there. Trust me.
But there
we
is
were
an
just
answer.
there.
Oh, I'm sure he's immensely
and Sidney
popular.
Crosby is the most likable.
Yeah.
Like he's liked. Like people love him. He can do no wrong.
But I was referring to like the embodiment of
He is,
like
but
Jason Kelsey would embody what Philadelphia
But
fans
I
are all
think,
about.
I think Sidney would embody Pittsburgh.
Okay, listen.
And Sidney was
Guys,
part of the
I was
group of
wrong.
players that turned that franchise
Yeah, you
around.
were.
When Sid the Kid got there, when Sidney Crosby got there, that franchise was almost out the door.
I think it's Mitch Keller.
No.
That's why they extended him. Who's got the big deal? It's Mitchie baseball. No, Sidney Crosby. That makes sense. That's Jamie. Take it easy over there.
Carey said it.
Both of you, take it easy.
I think in Philly though, you could also throw Bryce Harper in there too.
There you go.
That's true.
So we don't have one here. That's problematic. Back to the original point.
Got several here, Carey. See, it's all how you look at it.
That's problematic.
Spin rate.
Exit velo. Oh, sorry.
We get to one question in our Sports Six Pack. Why don't we do the other five next on 101 ESPN?
That's 2 days in a row now.
Yeah, it is.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, so we're underachievers here in the Fast Lane, as listeners often know. We got through one of the questions in the Sports Six-Pack, so why don't we get to the other five, or at least attempt to. Question 2, please.
Question number 2.
Just making sure.
Nailed it.
From the 217, what is the next boneheaded thing Major League Baseball does?
Oh,
great question. Great
well, they
question.
got the uniforms all taken care of.
They got the. Jamie, you were out for a segment for what's trending earlier today, but I said that this was the worst offseason Major League Baseball has had in quite a while. You've got a top-heavy league. The Dodgers stole all the headlines. You still got 3 premium free agents that have not been signed, and you just started spring training games yesterday. The uniforms are a freaking joke. This is an awful offseason. So what would be the next thing? Not doing anything about the uniforms. That would be one.
That would be one, although they might be so far along in the process here. As it turns out, apparently some teams are still don't even have their actual uniforms yet, so they're using, like the Cardinals have been wearing their road grays for the whole time because their white ones haven't come in yet.
Well, there you go. The uniforms don't even come in.
Yeah.
So the Cleveland Guardians, and I couldn't tell you who the players were, but if you look at the stripe on their sleeves, there's 2 guys standing right next to each other, and the piping on the sleeve is completely different.
It's a joke.
One's a skinny stripe, the other one is like a different material on the actual sleeve, and it's a thicker one.
Saved.
Tell me you don't care without telling me you don't care.
They don't
That's
care.
what you dress your uniform. This is a professional league.
Yeah, it's just tough when you go from traditional companies that know what they're doing to a brand new company that creates apparel, not in-game stuff.
Right. Good
And
call.
the NHL, they're about to go through the same thing. Their deal with Adidas and all that, it's up. And the next customer, Fanatics. So
Sign 'em
can't
up.
wait to see the see-through Blues jerseys next year.
Not great.
Not.
Do you think Fanatics, do you think they'll forget the fighting strap?
Oh, they might as well. Who cares now?
The fighting strap.
Not many guys are using that anymore. Just saying.
Question number 3.
Well, speaking of hockey, from the 314, what did you guys think of Patrick Waugh pulling the goalie early in the third period last night?
So, just to give it more background,
Yeah.
I'll hold my answer till the end. But background on this: Patrick Waugh did that the first time he was a coach in the NHL with the Colorado Avalanche in the second period one time.
Yeah.
Pulled his goalie. And it worked.
Did it work?
Yeah, they scored like 2 goals, got himself back in the game, put the goalie back in, and went from there. So, Anthony, what did you think of the move?
I liked it because it was outside of the box. I mean, if you're going to get back into that game, you got to do it early enough in the period. Like, you're trying to win the game, right? Herm Edwards style. You play the game to win. So what? They were down 3 at that point, right? Because the Buchnevich empty netter gave him the hat trick to make it 4.
Yep.
You're down 3 goals. Yeah. How are you going to get back in it if you don't pull the goaltender early? Now, if you score on that and it's 3-1, maybe you could put the goaltender back in, try to play 5-on-5 for a couple of minutes, and then pull the goalie again. Be aggressive. Why not? So we see this a lot in the playoffs. Why would you save that strategy in the playoffs when your season's on the line, as opposed to even a regular season game where you're down 3 and you still have at least 10 minutes to go? I like the out of the box thinking.
Seemed strange, but
See, it always seems strange because, Carey, we haven't seen it a lot.
It didn't work.
Outside of the box.
Yeah, it's kind of like, the same thing we were talking about with Kyrie. If it works, good. If it doesn't, what the hell are you doing? Like, if Kyrie makes that pass to Buchnevich and he misses, well, why didn't you shoot it? If they get back into the game, that's a hell of a decision. But when they give up an empty netter with 10 minutes left, you're like, that was dumb.
I like it.
It made sense. Like 4-on-4 was, that's what it was. And then you get the extra guy out there. It's technically a power play.
Yeah.
But the Blues did a good job special teams last night, and that's why it really didn't
PK
work.
unit was great.
So the way I look at it is, I like the move. And for several reasons. The number one reason, you scratched on it just a bit there, Marshy, is
if you would just run a really get in there.
It puts you up 5-on-4, and the other team can't ice the puck. They're not allowed because it's technically a 4-on-4. So it's not like a penalty kill where the other team can just start firing the puck down the ice for your open net.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. It's an icing call if they do that. Your power play had 8 high-danger chances up to that point in the hockey game. You hadn't scored yet because of Jordan Binnington, but you created 8 high-danger chances, which means your power play was finding opportunities to score. So why not put your team back on a power play? You make the game 3-1, and now you can go and battle for it for the rest of the game, and then maybe pull the goalie again if you need to.
Absolutely.
Well, they could have because it was 4-on-4, and so if they score, it remains 4-on-4.
You could have held onto the power play for the full 2 minutes rather than score one and you're done. You score one, pull the goalie again, you go score another one on the power play. At that point, I think that Patrick Waugh was looking at, what's the difference? If they score, we're out of it anyways at 3-0. With 10 minutes left in the game, 3 goals is a lot. That's a hefty mountain to climb. And if it's 4, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I even said on the broadcast, I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again. Because what's the difference between 4 and 5?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter at that point. It's not like the team that loses by the least amount does better. It doesn't matter. You're trying to win the hockey game.
Right.
So I liked the move. I thought it was aggressive. I thought that it was thinking outside the box. And again, and so one of our texters from the 618 said he got fired for ish like that last time, laughing my you-know-what off. No, he never got fired.
I think he quit.
Yeah, he left the Avalanche. After he won the Jack Adams Trophy for Coach of the Year, mind you. He left the Avalanche for personal reasons, whatever it was. Don't know what happened there. Went back to the junior team that he owned and coached that team to 2 more championships under his supervision. So it is competitive, intense thoughts like that do sometimes make the best coaches. In that moment, I like to move.
Marsh, details in an investigation matter.
All the time. Could be the difference between someone living and dying.
Exactly.
Question number 4.
Yeah, very important question here from Gator in the Snake Pit. What is the best Girl Scout cookie and why?
Samoas are hard to beat.
I'm right there with you. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah, the Thin Mint is the OG.
What about that new caramel thing that Ryder gave you yesterday, Mark?
The Adventurefuls.
It was all right.
Okay.
It was okay.
What did I have?
Samoas are the best.
What did I order the other day? The peanut butter. I can't remember.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
It's the ones, the peanut butter.
Tagalongs?
Peanut butter and tagalongs.
Is it tagalongs?
Yeah, I think it's tagalongs.
I don't know. I don't know the name of them. I just know the box. I know they taste good.
Is it the red box?
The orange box.
Orange box?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Do-si-dos.
Oh, do-si-dos. Okay. Yeah.
What color's that box?
It's orange, isn't it? Am I not?
I think the tagalongs are red.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Samoas
good to
are
know.
purple.
Is that right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll never mistake that one.
I've got-
the purple box. Absolutely recognize it every time. That's a Samoas, and I crush that.
Yeah. I've got 5 or 6 Girl Scout cookie boxes on my dining room table right now that need to go out.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you?
Some of you are going to get some, yeah.
Yeah, we need some. The do-si-dos.
Yep.
That's it. That's it.
Do-si-dos.
You can't beat a
Do-si-do at the square dance.
Yeah.
Thin Mints, though. You put those in the freezer.
I mean, they're solid.
Or the refrigerator.
Either frozen.
I like chocolate.
Frozen mint, Thin Mints.
Well said, Jamie.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Was that the Adventureful? Is that what Ryder brought in here yesterday?
Yeah, maybe that was.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's like a brownie one, but it's not. Doesn't really taste like a brownie. I've tried them all.
What's up, Mr. Mark? Huh?
It did.
Question number 5.
5. All right.
Nice. From the 618, I'd like to know what site Anthony looks at for Major League Baseball stats. Every time he says Newt Bar has good stats, I go to Baseball Reference and dive in, thinking something has changed. But every time I'm left wondering what Anthony is talking about.
What statistics do you want? Go to Fangraphs. The ones I like to use, WRC Plus. You're talking about how many runs you create, whether you're actually getting an RBI or you're hitting a home run or you're hitting a double. How good are you at creating runs for your team?
Well, it's your favorite for sure.
It is.
I've heard about it for 4 years.
OPS plus is solid too. Well, it's a good look. It's a good overall statistic, Jamie, and it's park adjusted. It's not like batting average.
I didn't say batting average was great.
Why is batting average not okay?
Well, they don't adjust for the parks. Batting average is also.
Is it adjust for the pitcher?
No. Doesn't adjust for anything.
Anthony doesn't care about the Triple Crown. That's what I heard.
Doesn't believe in it.
Doesn't believe.
I think. Look, to win the Triple Crown. You're talking about the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont.
It is a tough one.
It's a real tough one. I mean, you went a while without winning the Preakness. Of course, you went a while without winning the Triple Crown. I respect that more than most. I respect that crown more than most crowns, including the Royal Crown, because that's easy to get. Or give up.
What about Crown Royal?
Crown Royal is different. I like Crown Royal.
Hey, see?
Yeah.
Jamie, where can we get some Crown Royal?
Oh, they have all sorts of things available, but mostly the Crown Royal. They get the Crown Apple. They got all the good stuff over there at Dirt Cheap.
Let's get dirty.
Let's get dirty.
Yeah. Go to Fangraphs. I like Fangraphs. If you're going to Baseball Reference,
not for Crown Royal. Don't go to Fangraphs.
No, they won't have them there. You'll be
looking around
disappointed
for quite a while.
Yeah, no, but if you're going to Baseball Reference and just looking up batting average, then large probably won't be impressive. In fact, most Major League Baseball players not named Luis Ariz will be disappointing from a batting average standpoint. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's jump back into the Cardinals. I know we got at least one mic drop. We asked you if the Cardinals feel as though that they have solved the problem of the Cardinal Way by bringing in some former Cardinals players. Was that actually the main problem, though? That's next on 101 ESPN.
With over 2 decades of family ownership and operation, my great friends over at E&B Granite is the trusted name here in St. Louis when it comes to renovations for your kitchen, your bathroom, or how about the outdoor spaces? Those have become really popular, and E&B Granite is right there to help you. They offer an extensive selection of custom countertops, cabinets, and flooring that cater to all of your tastes, no matter what it is. They've got a variety of colors and patterns and styles, everything that's going to guarantee to bring new life to your living space, whether it's your kitchen, your bathroom, or again, your outdoor space. So please get down there and visit them at 6135 Manchester Avenue. When you walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. Sales representative is going to do an incredible job of helping you along with whatever the renovation is that you're looking to accomplish. Let's not forget about the massive inventory of custom countertops that they have available in the back as well, where you can walk back there and you can hand pick what you would like to go into your home. So please call ahead, too, to get an appointment at 314-645-9300. That's 314-645-9300. Or you can always visit them at enbgranite.com.
5:05, your time check is brought to you by Collection Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. We had posed a question to you, the listener, earlier today. What is the problem with the Cardinals? They seem to think that one of the biggest problems was that they have lost the Cardinal Way. It's why you bring back Lance Lynn. It's why you bring back Matt Carpenter. It's why you bring in guys, steady veterans like Sonny Gray and Kyle Gibson. Problem solved. The other issue, though, Jamie, is if they didn't actually solve the problem.
They did. They added pitchers.
That's the quickest way to not.
And relievers.
And relievers, yeah.
Lots of arms.
Yeah.
Yep.
Balls and vitamins they got.
Ready to roll.
Right, Marsh? Yeah.
They're good.
So what's your problem with the Cardinals?
I don't know what his problem is. He doesn't like the Cardinals.
What is the problem with the Cardinals? What's the problem with the Cardinals?
Nothing yet. They're championship bound to spring training.
I honestly don't see anything wrong with the Cardinals.
He's got the glasses.
I see nothing wrong with the Cardinals.
That's because you're wearing those glasses.
Marshy, I'm going to task you with something because you're really good at this stuff. Because only our Air Alliance team cameras can pick up when Carey puts on the Cardinals glasses.
Yeah, we need like a
Our listeners
jingle.
Driving around don't necessarily know. So we either need a sounder that lets people know that they're on, or just a little jingle in the background that plays the entire time he's wearing the glasses.
I don't know why, but I kind of want the NFL draft theme. When they're like,
I honestly don't see anything wrong with the Cardinals.
Like the pick is in.
Yeah,
the pick is in.
But that is what do you think that is? A xylophone that they're playing on that one?
I don't know.
You all aren't seeing what I'm seeing.
Maybe. Could be.
Yeah. You never could help yourself as a kid, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got those little toy xylophones, and you're like bam, 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 bam. They're like, you just do the whole swipe.
Of course. Or piano.
We're good.
Always.
All right.
All right. Go ahead.
You got that jingle or that sounder?
I'm still working on it.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Anthony.
Anyways, let's get to some mic drops.
Right.
Here's sweet voice James.
Save him off, Carey.
Yeah. Save him.
Hey, boys. I do believe that the problem is the culture inside the clubhouse where you're not having each other's back and you're throwing each other under the bus. And, we can sit here and say that Arenado and Goldie and some of these veterans are leaders, but Arenado hasn't won anywhere. I mean, all he's won are, personal awards like, Gold Gloves and been in the MVP voting. He's never been successful in the postseason. Hell, he's barely made it to the postseason. Goldie made it to the postseason with the Cardinals in 2019, and that team kind of seemed to fall off. I mean, they made it, 2 years ago, and, due to Ryan Helsley not being able to pitch through a finger issue. I mean, it seems like this team is just really soft. There's no leadership. And, I think bringing back Lance Lynn, and we saw when he pitched here before, he can be pretty salty. And I maybe that's what this team needs is, maybe no more lollipops and sunshine and a little bit of sandpaper and grit. Thanks, boys. Have a great weekend.
You too, James. So there is somebody that said that, the problem is likely, or one of the problems is the culture. I don't disagree with that. I don't think you're going to solve that in one offseason, though. That's the issue. You have to reestablish the culture. That takes time.
Yeah. We talked about when I was on the opening drive, we watched, obviously, all the games and talked about them. And a lot of the teams around the league had themes for their dugout celebrations. I think the Angels had like the samurai hat, and the Mariners had something. All the teams had.
Tigers had a hockey net.
They all. The Cardinals had a
Tigers
flip
had a
phone.
hockey net.
Yeah, they would hand the guy a stick. He'd go and shoot a puck in the net.
cool.
They were having fun. The Cardinals had a McDonald's burger flip phone. They didn't have. It didn't seem like that.
What's the meaning behind it?
They were dialing up home runs.
That's one of the more Cardinals things I think you're going to see.
Is that an homage to the
Big Mac?
the world famous video game Burger Time?
No, it was just a burger phone, and they were calling their shots. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
You don't remember Burger Time?
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember that either? Oh my God, guys!
It's a video game?
Yeah, Atari made it Burger Time. It was awesome. I thought that's an homage to that because it's such a well-known game.
Apparently not.
So.
Yeah.
You can Google it. It's real.
I believe it's real. Yeah.
So having fun that might seem like a small thing, but I'm sure, your teams you played on, there were certain things, inside jokes that, during games or in practice that you would laugh and joke
I'm gonna
about.
let you in on one.
Hey, let me know. What you got?
I don't know if this is safe for radio, so we're going to find out.
Here we go.
So if anybody's ever seen the movie Pulp Fiction,
okay, yeah,
and they say bring out the gimp. The gimp is wearing a certain kind of mask, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's leather. It's got the buckles. It's certain purposes behind it.
Sure.
So a teammate of mine and myself walked into a store. We were in Carolina in the minors before the Hurricanes had a team. This was a long time ago. The Carolina Monarchs, they were called. We walked into this certain store to sell certain things. And I walked up to the counter and said, hey, where's your leather masks? Guy was reading a book, didn't even bat an eyelash. Far right corner.
He's got it. He knows the store.
We bought a mask and made it a thing after that. So instead of the hard hat after the game, the player of the game or the player that blocked a shot or got in a big fight, he got to wear the mask.
I think that's...
And Jimmy Roberts was our coach, and Jimmy Roberts added the cat call to it because we were the Worcester Ice Cats. So you had to get down on all fours with the mask on and do your best cat call, your best roar.
Did guys stop playing? Did guys stop playing well after that?
No, Anthony. See, the funny thing happened.
To it.
Guys played harder because they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Guys that come in after and you'd pick a guy and another guy be pissed off that he didn't get a chance to do it. Carried over to the next year.
Did it?
Greg Gilbert, who was a teammate of mine here in St. Louis, became the head coach. There was a game where we needed to win the game for Gibby to be the all-star coach. Well, we won the game, and when we come in, Gibby walks in and he goes, give me the mask. And he put on the mask and got down and he gave us a roar, baby. So when you're talking about these fun things that just evolve.
It evolves. It transforms a
teammates
team.
that I still have from back then will come up and ask me, you still got the mask? Guess what? I still got the mask.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the burger
been
phone probably
repurposed.
didn't have the same... It's been repurposed. I almost missed that. I almost kept talking.
You should. I think the team has to have fun. Like, especially baseball. You got 162 games, man.
You can't have fun when you're getting your brains beat in.
Well, you don't.
That's a good point.
Well, this fair.
There it is.
This year, the Cardinals will not get their brains beat in. They will actually be a team of purpose. They will have a presence, and they will beat up on opposing teams. This is Cardinals LLC, and we focus on how to win games here. And you know what we did? We went out and got 3 starters. 1, 2, not 1, not 2, but 3. And we added to the bullpen. These guys are ready to roll. Our Jordan Walker, he's going to be great in right field. He's got a year under his belt. Mason Wynn got a few games under his belt last year. He's going to be ready, rocking and rolling in shortstop. He's going to make plays you've never seen with your own 2 eyes. You understand what I'm saying? You will be so surprised at how well this young man plays. These guys, Nolan Arenado is going to have one of the best seasons he's ever had. Okay?
Yes.
He was 3rd a couple of years ago. Look at him. Numero uno, MVP voting. And we will 90-plus games. There you have it. You heard it here first.
All right. Wow.
And the glasses are off. That is amazing.
That's good stuff.
That's great. I mean, what do you say to that?
I'm convinced. That's what I say.
I'm all in
You
now.
believe it?
I do. I feel
You
it.
should.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, that's cute.
Hey, when you look good, you play good. And the Cardinals are going to look good this year.
And they're see-through pants.
It might look better.
Yeah.
Let's get back into the Blues. They won a big game last night. Still more, though, Jamie. Still more that they could do leading up to the trade deadline. How does Doug Armstrong attack this deadline based on the next, 5 games, Jamie? How many games till the deadline?
7.
7. 7's the number.
7.
7 in a rainbow,
Not
too.
6.
7 colors in a
there is.
rainbow, not 5. 7.
Taste the rainbow.
Skittles. 7 games until the trade deadline. We'll talk about the Blues next on 101 ESPN.
February is Londoff Love Month, and Johnny Londoff Chevrolet is celebrating by spreading a little Londoff love with sweet deals on their entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles. And Johnny Londoff will always beat any other deal, no questions asked. That's the Londoff guarantee. Basically, you bring anyone's best deal, and they promise to beat it. And I can tell you this, that I buy all my vehicles from Londoff Chevrolet. Girlfriend just bought one not too long ago, and my son just bought a brand new Chevy Trax from Londoff Chevrolet, and it was awesome. They had a lot of savings involved. They gave us the best price for his trade-in, and he drove off the lot with an incredible vehicle, and that's all thanks to Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and the gang over there who took great care of him. And not only do they sell vehicles, they help you maintain them. So when you drive off the lot, schedule your first or second oil change, get on it. If you have anything else, please visit the First Star service area out there at the Londoff Autoplex. They do a great job out there of selling the vehicles, but certainly maintaining your vehicle. Both locations are fantastic. Walk into either location. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love to hear that. And if you can't get there in person, please get there online and check out all their inventory and all their great deals. Visit them at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Seven games left until the NHL trade deadline. 7 games for the Blues, I should say. So, Jamie, if they go, walk us through scenarios here. If they go 4-3, if they go 5-2, if they go 6-1, if they go 7-0, and then the flip side. Yeah, it was certainly
7-0
nice.
would be nice, Anthony. I like what you're predicting.
What do you think the cutoff is for Doug Armstrong to be a little aggressive at the deadline?
If you go 3-4, and your competition around you go like 5-2.
Okay.
So like, and not even the competition. For me, it just comes down to the Predators and the LA Kings. As of right now, nobody else has really made a big push from the bottom tier. Like, they're only 3 points back, but nobody's really taken like a run at it here.
Yeah.
And they're kind of in the same boat to where they'll win a game, lose a game. Win 2, lose 2. Win 2, lose 3. Like,
right.
The Blues season, but wearing different jerseys. And so if the Predators go 5-2 and you go 3-4, that's a really bad swing. LA Kings, same thing. LA's already ahead of you by, I believe, 4 points in the standings. So if those two teams create a gap that's that big, and maybe there's a team behind you that catches, and all of a sudden you're not even the third spot, you're in the fourth spot in the wild card, I think that changes the direction of where the team's going to go. I think you look at that and go, okay, we were a playoff team. I don't know if we are now. So maybe that changes their thought process on a player like Pavel Buchnevich or even an Oscar Sundqvist or a Marco Scandella. Because teams will call and people will want those players. Now, what will they want to give up? I mean, that's to be determined. It depends on what kind of value they think that player brings to their team. And it also depends on where that team is in the standings and what their playoff contentions are. Like, if they're into playoffs, are they a favorite to win? Are they a contender? That's kind of the way I look at it.
Well, I mean, I agree. I think it's just depending upon what they do down this stretch. And we've said it all season long, but it's probably the most truest now. This stretch of games will tell the tale of what they decide to do at the deadline. And, you know, if you repeat the success of what you did last night, you got a really good chance of being a good team and making a playoff push and maybe keeping the team intact. But as Jamie said, if you are unable to put together games like you did last night, if Binnington has an off night and you give up that many opportunities and he does not stand on his head and gives up some goals and you lose games like that, then, you know, you may come down to a decision where you have to make a tough decision. And decisions like that are never easy, right? It's not easy for the people making them. It's easy for the players that are being moved or have to move. Nobody on the team wants to see their friends leave. And then you kind of go back to what happened with Craig Berube. People start to feel like, man, we let our teammate down. We let our coach down. We didn't perform well enough to keep this guy around. And therefore, you know, it's going to be it's a transition in this team. And this team won't look the same at the trade deadline, and it won't look the same at the beginning of next season.
I just can't see the Blues falling out of playoff contention. I mean, maybe I'm naive and thinking it couldn't happen, but we talk about them being inconsistent. They really have avoided a lot of the long losing streaks too. They haven't had a long winning streak outside of the 5 games right before the NHL
they haven't
deadline
had 5 losses.
or the All-Star game. Yeah, but they haven't piled up. Last year, remember, it was like they won 6 in a row, then they lose 7 in a row, and then that was you saw the wild stretches of really bad play. They'll only go on average 2 or 3 games before they turn it around. Look at this past 3-game stretch. You did not play well against Nashville. You were a corpse on Monday against Toronto, and then you showed up last night and you shut out the Islanders 4-0. And I know they didn't have their best game. There were still areas. But, man, I mean, Binnington stood on his head. Pavel Buchnevich had a hat trick. Jordan Kyrou played extremely well. You beat that team up last night.
Yeah.
So they don't really go more than 2 or 3 games before you see another solid effort. Well, we love to see them get on a 10-game winning streak, of course. But to my other point, I don't think the Blues are going to really fall apart before the deadline here.
Well, no, but you have to worry about the Predators.
What's your problem?
Well, I don't have a problem, except the Predators are currently on a 3-game winning streak, and their last 3 games were 5-2 against the Blues. They beat the Vegas Golden Knights 5-3, and then they beat the LA Kings 4-1.
The Kings are struggling, and so are the Golden Knights.
But here's where the problem lies.
They're not.
Their next game's against the Sharks, then they play the Ducks, then they play the Senators, then they play the Wild. So they have their next 4 games are against non-playoff teams. And then if we move the needle just a little bit further, They have Montreal and Buffalo and Colorado. So Colorado is the only game between now and the trade deadline that the Predators are going to play a playoff team.
Colorado has struggled.
A little bit, but let's just say they lose that one.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 3. Doing some quick math here as I try and flip the screens. 4, 5, 6, 7. So they have 7 games just like the Blues, and they honestly have a chance to go 6-1. That's where I get worried.
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing is I don't like your attitude.
I don't really care.
Hey,
and you never have liked my attitude. You don't like anybody's attitude but your own, and yours sucks.
Anthony remembers, though, the Predators gave up
I like it.
a 3-goal lead to the Senators before.
Yeah, old Juicy Saros there.
Juice.
Couldn't keep
Juice
the puck
is
out of the
loose.
net, even though they handed him a three goal lead. You're absolutely right, Marsh. Thanks for bringing that back up.
Right. I'm bringing up a scenario to which makes it difficult for the Blues, which is why they have to keep winning. If you keep winning, you keep pace, and then if you go 4-3 and the Predators go 5-2, you're still right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
If you go 3-4 and they go 6-1, I don't like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go 5-2.
All right, good. I'm in.
Do it.
Deal.
Finally,
Starts tomorrow.
positive.
You said it.
I'm the one talking about the Blues
I said you said it.
rolling.
Yeah, and I said you're positive.
You're the one bringing up Nashville and their schedule and
also
look
said
who
they
they're
were going to
playing.
win the Stanley Cup this year, so you have to respect what he said.
But I just said you're being positive, and I appreciated that. Now you're all upset.
Don't you gaslight me.
I'm not.
You said, finally, you're being positive. For
I
once.
don't believe I said it like that. It's what I said
heard it.
and how you heard it, Anthony.
Yeah. I've been told tone matters.
Yeah, it sure does. You should know.
We all do.
Biggest question of the day next. The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. When it comes to the right remodeling company, there's only one. It's Mosby Building Arts. And Mosby Building Arts, they're hands down the best. And there's a couple of reasons why I love them. And I'll kind of share a couple of just my own experience, but I'll share what actual customers have said about Mosby Building Arts. I love the fact that when they start a project, they actually won't get it started until after all the materials come in. So let's say you're remodeling your kitchen. They come out, of course, they take all the measurements, they sit down with you, they walk you through the process of picking out everything that you like. Then they wait until the materials are actually in their building, and then they get started. And they have their own contractors, excuse me, that are in the building. So when it comes to electricians and plumbers, they get them all right there at Mosby, so they're not waiting on this person, some outside company. At Mosby Building Arts, they wait until all the materials are in, they got their contractors, then they start the project, so the entire experience for you is smooth. I'll give you one other example from a real customer that called Mosby. One very sweet elderly gentleman that called Mosby. He had hired a company that put on a new roof to his house. Company had knocked on his door, working in the neighborhood. A few years later, the roof started to leak. He called the wrong company back to uphold the warranty. They told him that came with the roof initially. Phone number no longer worked. The company had gone out of business. The warranty was no good, and the company wasn't around to honor it. You won't get that at Mosby Building Arts. So whether you have a big project like a roof or a kitchen, or you have a smaller project, make sure that you're calling my friends Mosby at 314-909-1800. You can visit their website as well. Call Mosby.com. Again, call Mosby.com. It's Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues defeated the Islanders last night by a final score of 4-0. Jordan Binnington stopped 38 shots in his 15th career shutout, picked up win number 137, tying Curtis Joseph on the Blues' all-time wins leaderboard. Pavel Buchnevich scored a hat trick last night as well as the Blues defeated the Islanders 4-0. They'll take on the Red Wings tomorrow. Pregame starts at 10 a.m. Puck drop is at 11, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
Time for the biggest question of the day here on 101 ESPN. I almost said game. It's a game to us.
Sure.
Yeah, 4 hours. Marsh, what do you got?
Game, Anthony.
Bring your A game, damn right. Yep.
So we got a question earlier from the Air Comfort Service text line. We were talking about Major League Baseball and all the dumb things that they've been doing. How can Major League Baseball, though, improve their product, not only from an on-field standpoint, but from off the field when it comes to, the blackout restrictions, just everything that encapsulate baseball right now? Like, how can this league become relevant again compared to the other leagues?
Well, I think the streaming would help the non-blackouts if they do go to a streaming service. So, if for example, if the Cardinals, if you have to have Amazon Prime to get your Cardinals games, I don't think people would push back on having a subscription for Amazon Prime as long as they can see the Cardinals. Where you run into issues is when you get the MLB package because you can't get, Bally Sports or whatever, and then you get blacked out because of the MLB restriction. So that the streaming service, I think, could solve a lot of issues. There would be, in my opinion, and people will disagree with this and we'll never see it happen, but in my opinion, you want to improve your game, implement a salary cap and a salary floor. I know, it'll never happen. I get it. But if you do that, you will force more parity into the sport. And I realize that a lot of people don't like the NFL or say they don't like the NFL because it's too watered down. Mm-hmm. Jamie, I don't know if you experience that in hockey a lot. Carey, I know you follow the NBA, but I hear it a lot in the NFL. It's too watered down. You're missing it, though. You're missing the point. Me, as a fan of a crap Falcons team, I was still watching, thinking my crap team could still make the playoffs 16, 17 weeks in. Other franchises, fan bases can say the same thing. Even if you're not a Chiefs fan, your team still has an opportunity because there's a cap that's in place, and your team, most teams spend to the cap. The Pittsburgh Pirates have no shot. The Cincinnati Reds have no shot. Hell, every team in the NL Central doesn't have a shot to win. Most of the teams in the NL West don't. At least two of the teams in the NL East don't. I'll leave the American League out of it. You get the point. You don't have enough eyeballs on your product deep into a 162-game season. So I think involving a cap and having more parity would solve a lot of the issues, in my opinion, with Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. The problem that you have, and I had a conversation with Bill DeWitt III one day, and he just said there's no inspiration for some of the lower tiered teams to spend money.
Right.
There's not.
In the current climate.
In the current climate, there's no inspiration because the other teams pay the freight for them.
Yep.
With the revenue sharing and all that stuff, those teams that are crappy are making money by being crappy. And so a lot of those owners aren't baseball enthusiasts. They're businessmen. And so they don't care. Like Pittsburgh Pirates, like, it doesn't care if they win.
Right.
But his bank book cares that they make money. And so I think that a salary cap and a salary floor, certainly the floor, would force some of these lesser teams to spend, obviously, up to whatever the floor is. And we had it in hockey. I don't necessarily like the salary cap for the NHL, but it did help push some of the lesser teams to have to spend a certain dollar amount. And I will say that on a yearly basis, the NHL is pretty competitive for playoff spots up until the final week of the season. You have some movement. Whereas before, and I played on one of these teams, I played for the Red Wings. We had a $95 million payroll back in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. You know, the salary cap's at 89 right now. We had a $95 million payroll.
Right.
And some of the teams had like 35 million.
Yeah.
So imagine that there was no parity there. We were kicking the snot out of those teams.
Right. That's what you should have.
We better have. Not just because of the money, but because of the players we had too. And obviously that goes with the money.
Yeah.
So I would agree with what you're saying, Anthony.
I mean, I think they tried, right? They banned the shift. They put a pitch clock in. They made bases bigger. All of those things were implemented, in my opinion. The shift being banned for more hits, the bases being bigger with the hopes of having more stolen bases and more activity on the base pass. And obviously the timer, because you couldn't change the channel in between pitches for 2 minutes and get back, and it's still a 2-1 count.
Anything. Right.
So they have tried to implement rules to help get the casual fan more engaged in baseball. I think baseball is kind of just a sport. Either you love it or you don't. And some people just...
But the league, though. Because I love the sport.
I understand, but I don't know what else the league can do in terms of... I don't know that a salary cap, making it more... having more parity is going to make the casual fan watch.
Yeah, but
if
it makes
my
a
team
casual,
is in it, I care.
You think
it makes
so?
a casual fan. Let's say we're fans in Cincinnati. Let's just say that, or Pittsburgh. We'll use that because we're familiar with that.
Right.
And you being a former Steelers player, you're now. Let's say you retired in Pittsburgh. You love the sport of baseball.
Right.
But your team sucks every year because they're not forced.
Right.
But wouldn't it be fun? And I'm not saying they automatically grabs you back. But wouldn't it be fun if now that team was forced to spend some money, and then all of a sudden there's a little bit of a buzz. The Pirates, maybe they squeak into a wild card 2 years down the road, and now you're like, hey, let's go to a game, honey. You know, like all of a sudden, because your team doesn't suck anymore, you maybe want to watch some of them.
And because your team is in it deeper into the year, what else are you doing? You're paying more attention. You're paying more attention to the league. We say, oh, Major League Baseball doesn't market their players. If I'm not watching, you can market the hell out of somebody. If I'm not watching because my team isn't in it, who cares? Right. But if Bryce Harper comes to town late, I'm a Pittsburgh Pirate fan. Harper and the Phillies come in, and the Pirates are a wild card team. Now I'm watching Bryce Harper. Wow, that's interesting. Phillies make the playoffs, Pirates don't. Well, you know what? I kind of liked watching Bryce Harper play. I'll watch him. I think your team has got to be in it. It's what we root for as fans.
Or do more teams need more superstars so other teams can go? You just mentioned Bryce Harper, right? Yeah. That's because the Phillies have multiple superstars, so people are more inclined to go see them. If you play like the name a team that no one cares about, the Rockies. Yeah, the Rockies come to town and you're the Pirates, right? Mm-hmm. How many people are going to go to that game? It's not like you get up and you're like, I want to go see.
Right. Yeah. As much as we complain about Thursday night football games in the NFL, we all watch. This is a bad matchup. You're tuned in. And a lot of that has to do with fantasy football and gambling. I'm not overlooking that aspect of it. But we're still tuned in. You have to have more eyeballs on your sport and your league. That's my opinion. So if you get a cap in place, the other thing too, I'll be real quick on this. There's no strategy to this. The Phillies have no strategy. Mm-hmm. It's who's available, who can we get to Philadelphia, we're paying the most. What's the strategy behind that? You know, it used to be we're seeing this in other sports. It's like, okay, we don't have the roster to compete necessarily with the top teams, but what if we implement a strategy that's different? We see a lot of NFL teams say, you know what, we're going to start pounding the rock again. Everybody's spread out. Defenses are smaller and faster to defend the pass. Let's start running the ball now. We don't have the roster, but we're gonna run 40 times. We're gonna keep the game close and try to win it. That's at least a strategy. There's no strategy in baseball at this point. Dodgers. Dodgers would get everybody humanly possible.
Yeah, and
because
the
we can pay 'em.
strategy is just put the guys on the field.
Right.
I hear what you're saying.
This isn't like something that would completely change and make people want to watch the game, but do you think Major League Baseball should have a rule where you can actually trade draft picks?
Yes.
Because we look at the NBA, the
Yeah, but
NHL.
they'd have to limit their draft, though, because they've got so many friggin' rounds of draft. I'll trade you a 75th rounder
Right.
for,
Let's say the first 3 rounds or something.
something like that. Yeah, that would change a lot of. It could, because now you, like the NHL, you could throw in a draft pick or whatever and be a difference maker.
Don't have to give up a prospect now, but you do have to give up a first-round pick,
Yeah.
which could be a prospect.
Could be more moves made that make things just a little bit more exciting.
Exactly. What's exciting? You're free. Let's go over this as a Major League Baseball fan. You go into the offseason, right? You have no idea when the action's actually going to start. It used to be right around the winter meetings. Now, you have guys premium free agents that are unsigned. That's not good for your sport. You go into the trade deadline. Imagine if you can trade. We have the number 1 overall. The Pirates, they've got the number 1 pick and the number 5 pick. Number 1 pick and the 10th pick because they made a trade at the deadline. That would be more exciting. But no, Major League Baseball, they're fine with what it is because they don't care about the fan. They just don't. They don't care about you as a fan or your viewing experience.
Would you say that the owners in Major League Baseball are cheaper than the other owners in other sports?
Goes back to what Jamie said. They're not necessarily in it. Like Stillman's a hockey fan.
Yes. The ownership group, they all love hockey.
The Oakland A's owner, clearly not a baseball fan. You can't look at anybody and look them right in the eye and say I'm a baseball fan. You're not. You're in it to own the team to make profits. Okay, cool. Because Major League Baseball allows you to put a crap product on the field, and nobody says anything except for your fan base. Stop showing up. So, just my thoughts. All right, we have Fade or Follow, and we do need a Fade or Follow contestant too. So text and Fade 314-399-9646. So we'll do Fade or Follow. Bet the board. 3 stars of the day next on 101 ESPN.
All right, it's getting to be that time of year where people start to list their homes on the market. And if you're sitting right now in your home and you're not sure, well, 1, when to list it, or 2, what to list it for, or you have any other questions, don't just trust any agent that's out there. Pick up the phone and call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Several reasons why, but a couple of that I really love is she has the guaranteed sales option. And all that means is that she guarantees to sell your house for the agreed upon price that you guys sit down and negotiate and talk about and strategize. And if she doesn't sell the home for that price, she buys it herself, and she includes all of that in handwriting. And she also has lots of buyers in her database, thousands of buyers. That's what you want. You want the most traffic possible to your listing. Hopefully you're driving up the price, or maybe multiple offers, more money in your pocket, and that way everybody's happy. Your home gets sold, you're happy with getting the money, and Gloria Liu is happy because she was able to make you happy and sell your home at the same time. So please pick up the phone, call Gloria Liu, tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number's 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Remember that conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the sales price and possession date.
FanDuel Fade or Follow on the Fast Lane.
Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Everyone follow us.
Money, 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 money.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time to play Fade or Follow. We have a new contestant, Pete. What's up, Pete?
Not much. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing well. So have you heard Fade or Follow? Do you know how it works?
Yes, I do.
All right, perfect. So we're going to give you a play. You just tell us whether or not you want to fade or follow us. We were talking about this in a break. Tomorrow, the Toronto Maple Leafs are in Colorado tomorrow night. It's a 6 o'clock puck drop. And with the way that Colorado has struggled and the way that Toronto has played of late, they've won 8 of their last 10 games. We like Toronto plus 105 to beat the Avalanche. So if you fade us, you're going to take the Avalanche to win. If you follow us, you're going to be taking the Maple Leafs to win. Would you like to fade us or follow us?
I think I'm going to have to follow you guys.
Yeah, Pete.
Attaboy.
Nice job.
Pistol Pete.
Oh,
baby.
You made the right call, Pete.
You got to hate the Avalanche, so it's a no-brainer.
It kind of works. It kind of works on multiple levels. All right, Pete. Hey, good luck to you. We'll be rooting for the Maple Leafs, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you. If Pete wins, he's going to get $50 of FanDuel's money and come back next week to try to win another 50 bones.
I like that.
Absolutely. Time to bet the board.
Okay.
Marsh, do you have our latest standings?
I do. Carey is leading 9-6 over Anthony, who's 8-7. Jamie's at 6-9. Makes sense.
You like that, though.
Yeah, I do.
And I am 4-11.
You won last night, then?
No. I had the over in the Blues Islanders game.
That's right.
Yeah, so
it was 6.5, right? Or 5.5.
It was at 6.5.
Yeah, or 6 or whatever. Yeah.
Patrick Waugh,
give or take.
and the
You got
Islanders,
skunked.
they score.
You had the Panthers, right?
Yeah, they lost
in the last
1-0.
10 seconds of the game.
Yeah, but they scored I thought they scored a goal.
Offside.
Yeah, they had scored a goal with 3 minutes left, but they got called offsides, and then they allowed the goal late.
That's horrible.
Carey, you had the Warriors, though.
Yeah.
You're all over
like
the
20.
Warriors. Yep.
Not tonight, though.
And I had the Blues.
Tonight.
But not tonight.
Anyway,
Okay.
12.5.
Now, you can play tomorrow as well.
That's cool. Nah.
All right, what do you got, Carey?
I'm going to go with the Suns, who are -3. Oh, actually, I'm going to go to money line. It just changed. -148 over the Houston Rockets.
Ooh.
Just changed as we are speaking.
People knew.
It was 152.
That you
and
were
now
taking
it's
them.
148. Money line.
Okay, so you get the Suns' money line tonight against
Yes.
who? Houston? Is that who they're
Against
playing?
Houston. Yes, sir.
All right, boys, remember a couple days ago I said it doesn't make sense that Duke is only a 5.5-point favorite over Miami, and I'm just going to get cute and take Miami, and they got steamrolled. I'm going to take Duke plus 2.5 tomorrow at Wake Forest.
All right.
That line doesn't make sense either, but I'm actually going to take Duke tomorrow. So give me Duke plus the 2.5 tomorrow afternoon against ACC foe Wake. Jamie.
I'm going right to where we just went with the fade or follow. I had Toronto Maple Leafs over the Avalanche.
I love it.
They're plus 102.
Love it. Marshy Marsh.
I'm going to go with Anthony Edwards to have over 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, there you go. Go and player prop. Criticisms, compliments, Marsh.
We got to get right into the 3 stars of the day.
Give it to us.
All right, our 3rd star of the day goes to the Burger Phone. Congratulations to the Burger Phone.
Good job from last year.
I don't think they deserved it, but that's okay.
Shouldn't bring it back this year.
Yeah, they didn't use it very much.
They did not. Did they?
Our 2nd star of the day goes to Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
Can't wait for those.
Dosey-dos.
Those are great.
Samoas.
Should know about them.
And our 1st star of the day was between Essie Hinton, who is a woman, by the way, and Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv.
We got to give it to Roy. Or Roy G. Biv.
Yeah, Roy G. Biv.
No,
There you
Roy
go.
G. Biv. You know there are 7
colors in the rainbow.
Not 5.
Jamie, you're going to remember that now, the Roy G. Biv.
No, I probably won't.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
But I'll remember there's 7.
There you go.
Because it'd be 7-minute abs, not 6. That's exactly why
That's
I
the number.
remember it. Yeah.
What about 6? No, 7's the number. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Don't forget tomorrow, the Blues and the Red Wings. We have the coverage for you, starting with the 10 a.m. pregame right here on 101 ESPN. We'll have the game for you on the Blues Radio Network. Thank you for listening all week or watching on the Air Alliance, the YouTube channel. We appreciate you. For Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.